I guess.
Hmm.
And that's what really caught me. I mean, honestly, out of all of the characters, it was the antagonist that I was really hooked into.
No, for me, Shadowbringers, what broke me was the fairy area with Titania. Man, that
Jeez,
one
I wanted to
really
smack the
broke
shit.
me. Like,
That one, yeah.
like it was a case of I normally play with like G Shade on, so when I entered that area, oh my god, that killed
Ah,
me. It was
yeah,
blinding as hell.
yeah. Then I think, especially when you finish the when you clear that area, when you finally give light to that place, it's very bright. It's very
Yeah.
bright.
Like the thing was I got up to Titania, I cleared Titania, and after that I was just
Mm-mm.
like, nah, I am out of here. Because my experience with
That's
Titania
understandable.
was god awful.
Oof, I'm
Like
very sorry to hear that.
how does one put it? I hadn't played in a year. So
Mhm.
I played at the launch of Shadowbringers, got up to Titania, stopped playing, and a whole year went past. Then I was like, oh, it's a
Mhm.
free weekend. I may as well give this a shot. So I went ahead, downloaded the game again, took an entire day because Aussie Net is bloody slow.
Mhm. Mhm.
Logged in, did Titania, called a tank over to get my Q popped instantly, and then was like, man, I never want to do that again because I was top DPS after not playing for a year. And it wasn't top DPS by a tiny amount either.
Oh, it was one of those significant ones. It's okay. I've had those moments where I was a white mage and I beat like the ninja, and I was just like, this isn't supposed to happen.
This was 2 to 3k DPS above, so I was just like, oh no, this is horrible.
Oh
Yeah, I
no.
was just playing Summoner. I'm like, Summoner shouldn't be doing this much damage. If not, why is everyone doing so little damage? Hold up. Something's wrong
Yeah, yeah,
here.
yeah.
Because, yeah, the tank that I partnered up with was, yeah, second on the DPS. And I was like,
Mhm. Mhm.
something's wrong here. I mean, it's a Savage Geared tank, so sure. But at the same time, buddy, what's going on? We wiped 3 times.
Wow.
We wiped 3 times. I was the last one alive each time. I'm just like, why? This isn't
Man.
that hard. Please.
Uh, that's good. I'm so sorry that was your experience. It's very rare for me to do rando parties or pug parties because I have like a lot of friends that play um Final Fantasy, especially
Lucky,
like my
lucky.
FC.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like in the beginning where everybody doesn't know the fight, I'm not dealing with a bunch of strangers. I'm just dealing with people who I know and I know how they play, so I'm just like I can tolerate this.
No,
But
Savage
yeah.
Raid for me was roughly the same. When I did it back in Stormblood, I was like, oh yeah, I'll join a static this time around. Can't be that bad, right? Right?
Ooh,
Ooh,
sheesh.
boy. We did not clear anything week 1. It took us till like week 3, I think, before we even cleared the
Mhm.
first and second encounters, and we were just like, and this was for like Stormblood launch, so Omega
Mhm, mhm.
01 to 04, pretty much.
Right,
The
right, right,
static got up
right.
to
Wow.
the static got up to 03 and then disbanded
Mm,
because one of our
yeah, that's
healers,
a discount.
yeah, one healer, ironically, was suffering from heart problems and had to go get surgery.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
They needed the healing.
yes, they need the healing a lot more than anyone
Oh
else in
my
the lot.
goodness.
Yeah,
Goodness.
I have fond memories of FF because I started over on like some random Japanese server, joined an FC there, and they always held like community events and everything.
Yeah,
Then
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, then I transferred over to more Aussie-centric one because all my mates IRL started playing, and I was like, damn, all right, may as well join
Well,
this lot. But yeah,
they actually just announced that they're having a
oh yeah,
an Aussie data center.
yeah, and I'm conflicted where I want to actually go back and transfer or not because I doubt I'm ever touching the game again. But at the same
Right,
time,
right, right.
At the same time, I saw Sage and I was like,
Sage is looking pretty fine, won't lie. It looks really fun.
I just like cast a healer. Depends on what they do to Astro and Scholar as well, because if I do come back, I'll probably just play healer instead of DPS or tank.
Yeah.
Because, man.
I think from what I gathered, it was going to be definitely Astro is going to be more utility based and regen healer. Because they're not gonna have the nocturnal sect anymore. I think they're gonna completely change it into something else.
Okay.
Yeah. And for Scholar is probably the biggest mystery right now because of Sage, essentially. I think my theory is Sage is gonna be the new, basically what Scholars want. It's basically what the Scholars wanted. It's gonna be like a shield healer, but mainly DPS. They're gonna have more DPS and they're shield based. As for Scholar, I think they're going to be more utility based.
Because what I remember
That's kind of like
hearing,
what I'm
what I remember hearing maybe 2 free live letters ago was they wanted to split healers into 2 categories, which was just the barrier utility and the pure healers. And I think
Yeah,
Astro White Mage, I think, were the ones outlined for pure healing, actually.
yeah, they're both regen healers, and Scholar and Sage are going to be barrier healers. The only thing that currently what the healers are wondering about is how different, like what's going to make them unique.
Yeah.
You know, because like you know, it's kind of like one of those moments of just like, well, if Astro and White Mage are both regen, what's the point? Maybe what's the point of playing an Astro if I could just do better DPS and better potent healing, you know? So that's why I think at least the Scholar and the Astro, I feel like they're going to offer a lot more utility in the next expansion, but that's kind of like my theory about it.
Let's see. When it comes to just healing in games, I suppose it more or less comes down to types of healing and mitigation. So yeah, it does come down to that. Maybe it'll come down to buffs and debuffs again, but at the same time, Astro, yeah. I remember Heavensward Astro, that was fun. Then Stormblood Astro was, yeah, this is alright. Except, yeah, they changed all the cards and I was just like, man, can't pad someone's can't pad DPS with the balance anymore. What a shame. Let's use the arrow instead.
Man, trust me, I miss the old Astros so much. I miss just giving my monk or my dragoon 200% arrow to them. They just go, Lenna, stop. What are you doing? I'm just like, punch things faster.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I definitely miss that heavy utility-based stuff.
There was a lot of just finicking with what worked, what didn't, and then thinking on the spot. So, of course, you needed to have draw, redraw, spread, shuffle, whatever. And all those crazy commands just mapped to different keys. I was just like, yeah, I've slammed like 4 of these on the one card draw. I'm depressed now. I still have an ewer in my hand. Why do I have an ewer in my hand?
Oh my god. Fucking your cards, dude.
Man.
Fucking Spire cards, too.
Spire was okay when TP was still a thing.
I mean, yeah, now it's just kind of really irrelevant now.
Alright, anyhow, we've been going on about FF for a good 10 or so minutes. Shall we get started then?
Yes, we shall.
So, first off, welcome to Moonlight Flowers. Feel free to introduce yourself.
Oh, hi. Well, I'm Lenna, and I am just your average human being.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Average human being. No mention of streaming, nothing at all. Okay. That's...
Yeah, I am just your average human being. I mean, sure, I do stream once in a while. I do stream once in a while. I like music. Let's see, I like playing video games. Ooh. how exciting. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like a very simple intro, you know?
Hmm.
Just gotta keep things a mystery, you know? Gotta keep things vague.
Okay, that actually left me completely dumbstruck because I was like, wait, that's the simplest intro I've had so far. Like, but by far, just oh yeah, I'm a regular human being. Like that's it. Because everyone else normally goes on about they insert like a tidbit of their lore, then they insert, oh, I'm a variety streamer. I stream this, and this in this kind of time zone, blah blah blah. I'm just like,
I mean, sure, I could say that, but like, you know, I just like having the big picture, you know? If they, you know, if there's just like, oh, who's that? Who's that chick over there? Well, I'm just like, I'm Lenna. Important part is, you know, the name. And what am I? Just your average human being. Let's go.
not bad at all. Then in that case, short and sweet.
Exactly.
In which case, let's shift over quickly into one of the other questions, which would be, what inspired your design then, regular human being?
Well, first it was inspired by Arknights and a little bit of the mixture of that and techware essentially. Um, there is a specific character. Her name was Siege, and ironically, she is not just a human being. She is a lion humanoid. And I've always thought like her design was really cool. Kind of has like this badass kind of style to her. And I was talking to one of my friends who completely did a full design of this, and I was just like, "Hey, man, you know me IRL, so let's get to the point. I want something like this, and I want something mixtured with tickwear. These are your color schemes. Go wild!" And here I am.
I would not have pulled Siege as an inspiration at all.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely one of those things where it's just like, wait, really?
Yeah, it's a wait, what? So now I can somewhat imagine Lenna trying to pull out a hammer or like a sledgehammer of some kind and just being like, okay. So that's how
Yes,
it was.
absolutely, absolutely. Got to bonk people once in a while, you
But
know.
bonk people, that's a very heavy bonk you've got there, I would say. In which case, let's see. On top of design, normally I just flow straight into someone's lore simply because it's normally mentioned at the start, but
Mhm.
sure, do go about your lore if you have any, because I keep hearing something about a
Sure.
cafe.
Well, yes, I do. In the beginning, I was basically an old adventurer. I used to be an adventurer like you.
Oh dear.
Kind of thing. And unfortunately, certain things have happened, and I am now here and just opened a cafe and just living my life, man.
So
That's really it.
yeah, this design does not scream barista, but at the same time, man, former
It
adventurer.
usually
Okay,
shouldn't. Yeah.
so
Farmer adventure.
straightforward story. In which case, yeah, it's not too
Yeah.
bad.
Very, very straightforward.
In which case, I am going to have to ask, what kind of streams do you normally go for?
Well, half of the time I play Final Fantasy 14 and
I swear it's more than half the time.
yeah, you're right. And I bang my head against the wall 90% of the time. Let's see now. I do play a lot of indie games during my weekends, actually. Usually either every Friday or every other Friday, I would do a little bit of a thing called an eat-along stream, and it's where I basically tell my viewers, or where I tell, like, you know, whoever, friends and whatnot, be like, hey guys, I'm gonna be ordering this kind of food. I'll be eating it at the cafe. If you guys can, you know, if you guys want to order food with me and just eat, you know, catch up, kind of like talk about how our week was, how our week went, all that shenanigans. Yeah, just join kind of thing. And then afterwards, I would usually play something a little bit more on the relaxing side and something that I can basically focus on, chat a little bit more.
Fair enough, in which case, just a nice little end of week kind of affair, I suppose.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, originally I did want to run something like that, but in the end, yeah, time zones are absolute misery, and a good chunk of my
Oh, right.
acquaintances are in the wrong time zone.
Right. Yeah. Ah, curse you, time zones.
Because, yeah, when you're Aussie and you're down under, you're plus like 10, plus 11 or something, it's like,
Mm-mm-mm.
man, everyone else is. Most of the people I've made acquaintance with are either in Southeast Asia, which isn't too bad usually, or over in the States or Canada. And that's where it becomes like, oh god, man.
Oh, yeah.
So I will casually ask the question, how does it feel talking into the future?
How does it feel talking into the future? I usually don't think about too much of the future because I usually just live in the present at that point. So it's kind of like up in the air, you know? It's kind of very, very unexpected.
Because, yeah, when you speak with like people in other time zones, it's like, oh yeah, what day is it for you? Oh god, it's still okay. My condolences, you're still in the previous day.
I kind of understand that because like I've actually lived in Japan for 17 years or so.
Oh heck, okay.
Um yeah, so I've definitely understood like the whole talking to a bunch of people that are like, what do you mean? It's only Thursday, and I'm just like living in the Friday, and I'm just like, whoa, trippy.
I'm just lucky that Japan times are just like 1 hour off of me at this point, so very easy to catch live streams in that regard.
Very true, very true.
Also, very easy to make use of when writing schedules and just put JST there, so that people are like, oh yeah, you're not living in some country that doesn't exist and putting some imaginary time zone there.
It's not like you live in Finland, which is a country that clearly doesn't exist.
Oh my, why Finland? God damn it.
Have you not heard of this? Like, there was like this conspiracy theory where Finland is actually not a place, and it's just you're just somewhere in Russia or something like that. It
Oh
was like
my god.
it was it was a hilarious conspiracy theory that I was like listening to from a friend.
What are the weirdest conspiracy theories you've heard before then, in which case?
Like, are we talking about just in general, or are we talking about like in the VTube community, or
In
like?
general, just some wild stuff. Throw it out there. Let's hear it.
Oh, jeez. Honestly, the Finland that doesn't exist kind of is kind of up there. I know there was one more. I think there was like a Disneyland conspiracy theory. There was like okay, so it's kind of real, kind of not too real. It was kind of like one of those mixed up ones. So in Disneyland, both like either like in China, Japan, or the one in the US, whatever, there is a certain shade of green that exists, and it's called See Me Not Green or something like that. And
Huh.
it's
Okay.
and it's supposed to basically be some sort of camouflage for the human eye so that you don't pay attention to it. And there is a so the crazy conspiracy theory is that they drag people in there in certain areas that have the See Me Not Green.
Hey? Hey?
Yeah, that is literally the conspiracy theory.
Oh my god. Yeah, that does sound very, very tinfoil hat like. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a very, very tinfoil hat, but I found that very interesting because there is actually a green that you are not supposed to focus on. Hold on, see me, does it See Me Not Green? I'm gonna
Just do a quick Google search.
Yeah. It surprisingly, I think it's similar to your hair color,
Hey?
if I'm not mistaken.
Oh
Yeah,
god.
it's actually very similar to your hair color from
yes.
what I remembered. It was like a very like a muted grayish blue green color. Yeah.
Hey, then see me not then, in which case.
Yes. Other than that, the birds work for the bourgeoisie.
Eh?
There we go. Yes. That is the other conspiracy theory. They work for the bourgeoisie.
Okay. The weirdest one I've experienced firsthand, probably.
Mm-mm.
So, at my university, they had an open day, and I was like, you know what, I'll go in. If there are any clubs that interest me, if there's an archery club, I'll join that. If there's something along those lines, sure, I'll join up. And I headed over. It was pretty boring for the most part, nothing really caught my eye. Then, out of nowhere, this one guy holding onto a bunch of pamphlets approaches me and goes, hey. Do you know that World War III is less than a year out and the Russians are going to start it?
Wow.
He hand...
Was he wearing like a tinfoil hat?
Nope. He was... Okay, I'll get to the worst part of it in just a bit. But yeah, he hands me this
Oh
pamphlet.
God.
I'm just like, oh man. Holy hell, why does this date all the way back to the Cold War? What kind of boomer stuff has this guy been looking through? Oh my god, there's conspiracies about submarines, about just random cyberware, and all kinds of just... Oh my god. Okay, I kind of just nodded along to everything. Nod. Oh, can you provide your contact details? I'm like, you know, I need to get going.
Oh, that's a hard no. That's a hard pass.
Yeah, and after that I was like, okay, I'll just tear this up, throw it in a bin, and hopefully never see this guy ever again. Week 1 of uni rolls around. Go to my first lecture. It's a lecture for maths, so it's like, oh yeah, should be fine. Lecturer walks in. It's the guy.
No.
It is the exact same guy, and I'm just like, oh.
No. Oh fuck.
I
That's
was like,
awkward.
oh god, oh fuck, oh no, don't notice me, because I'm sitting way out the back and just trying not to fall asleep because it's late afternoon. I've been through a murderous amount of classes, and I just see him and I immediately perk up. I'm like, shit, what?
Oh jeez, no, I get that. Actually, the human mind, you are actually the least productive during 2 to 4 p.m. in the afternoon.
Ah, huh. That's
Yeah,
normally when I
your
fall
brain
asleep.
actually, yeah, your brain actually starts to kind of like quote unquote shut down or like kind of like be in the dead zone. It's where you're most likely to autopilot certain things, or you tend to like want to take a nap during that time.
Huh, okay. That's an interesting thing to note, because around that time there's a coffee shop that opens for a happy hour, specifically from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. for about $2 a coffee, and that's ridiculously cheap, all things considered, in Australia. And we're just like, oh yeah, all right. So some of the lessons that I have at whatever institution I'm at, they have their lessons from about 1:30 to 4:30, and every single time students are just like, oh yeah, can we take a break now? We just want to get some coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, specifically just to go up the road and come back with $2 coffee.
Yeah, that's a lot of people, like, you know, when they talk about like, you know, shit, I'm like really tired, especially when it's just like roughly around that time. And um my college professor, when I was studying psychology or neurology, he mentioned about that, and that honestly like stuck in my head for quite a while.
Okay, in which case, barista fame. Now, I did hear earlier on stream one time you mentioned that you weren't too much into coffee, but what would be your preferred coffee?
So I actually just recently got this whole bag of coffee beans, and it was actually from David Lynch.
Hey?
I'm not so sure if you know David Lynch, but he is basically he's an American filmmaker, and he does like kind of like psychological, maybe horror-esque, trippy kind of stuff. But so anyways, he would always have this certain coffee. Like in a lot of his movies, coffee was actually a very big thing, like motif, symbolism, or whatever, right? People would always talk about, oh, gee, I would totally. Actually, wait, he did Twin Peaks. I'm not so sure if you've seen
Oh
that
no,
one,
that
but
one I've heard of. Yeah.
okay, yeah, that's the man, the creator of that guy. That's him. So, sorry, I might sneeze.
Hey.
Oh,
Bless you.
Ugh,
bless you
all right.
again.
Thank you so much. So in Twin Peaks specifically, there was like a diner, and they were giving out this coffee, and a lot of people were just like saying, "Oh my god, I want the coffee." So recently, he just dropped the David Lynch coffee, which I am currently now very into at the moment. And
what kind of quality does it have to it then?
I think from what I was reading it was like was it dark roast? I don't remember specifically. All I know is that it has the notes for it was rich and chocolatey were the top two things about it, and super organic from what I remembered. But yeah, it's really something that's really it's a simple cup of coffee, really. Nothing too extravagant, I guess.
Just simple coffee, huh?
Yeah, I'm not like a huge coffee connoisseur, so I don't know like too much about like coffee. I just know how to make coffee, whether it's like French press or cold brew, or being incredibly lazy and just or just putting a filter and just pour hot water on it, because I'm pretty fucking basic like that.
Nah, drip coffee's alright. I normally do cold brew more often.
Cold brew's nice.
Yeah, it removes some of the more bitter notes usually.
Yeah, like I think what it was is it removes like the acidity of it. Is that what it is, or?
Potentially.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, roasting things or just boiling them often brings out some unwanted flavors if you do it for far too long.
Okay. Yeah. Honestly, instead of like being like a coffee connoisseur, I'm actually really just a tea freak. When it comes to tea, you name it, I actually know a lot about tea.
Alright, you know what? Let's fast forward one of these questions I normally save towards the end. Recommend a drink. So, any drink at all.
Any drink at all, alcoholic drink, a classic gin and tonic. When it comes to any other beverages, I just love a nice hot cup of tea, specifically an Earl Grey with more lavender in it.
Okay. That's an interesting pick for tea, I suppose.
Yeah.
Earl Grey. I normally only grab that in the morning at times, and normally if other people are mixing it, just say, yep, because I think normally it's like Earl Grey and either some ginger stuff or some other stuff mixed in.
Yeah, that's nice. That's actually really nice.
Yeah, gin and tonic though. Yeah, it's the one thing that I can mix on the spot usually, because I always have the ingredients for that lying around.
Oh, man, I love gin and tonic, man. It's so delicious.
Like for me, it's just yeah. If I go into a random hotel bar, you are guaranteed to at least be able to order a gin and tonic. If they can't make anything else, they should be able to make one of those.
Funny enough, the when it comes to like ordering drinks, I feel like whenever I feel like having a cocktail or like something sweet, right? Because like sometimes you can crave for it, right? They immediately ask for my ID. But every single time when I ask for a gin and tonic, they just go, "Oh, that's an old man's drink. You are old." And they don't bother asking for my ID, and I'm just like, read the book.
No, it's the same if you go into a bottle shop and ask for vermouth. They will definitely not ask for your ID after that.
Yeah.
They'll just simply go, wait, they want vermouth? Who buys vermouth? Oh God. Because recently I went to my local bottler and I asked the guy, "Oh yeah, do you sell vermouth?" He's like, "Vermouth? What's vermouth?" I'm like,
Oh
"Eh?
my god.
Oh no!" I'm like, "You're kidding, right?" He's like, "No, no, what's vermouth?" I'm like, "Fortified wine." He's like, "Oh yeah, fortified wine section's back there." I looked for him, like, "There's nothing here." Oh my god.
Oh god.
No, it's an Aussie bottler, so mostly they stock up
Mhm.
on either hard spirits or beers for the most part.
Okay, okay.
So beer range was very extensive. I was like, man, man.
Do they focus on certain types of beers, or are they like more cider heavy, or are they like stout heavy?
They actually just do the whole range for the most part, because,
Wow, okay.
yeah, I don't know. Australia likes its piss, and, yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of the culture of it when it comes to that, because it's
I
just
mean,
like,
listen,
yeah.
it's like I won't judge you if you as long as you don't drink Bud Light, I or piss water, I won't judge you too much.
But Bud Light, oh my god.
It's gross. I actually know somebody who's just like, you know, I actually really enjoy Bud Light. I judge the shit out of them so hard, man. I'm so sorry. Like, I love them to death, and I consider them like one of my closer friends. I judge the living shit out of them till
Bud
this
Light,
day.
man. Like, generally, I just don't deal with beer very well, because spirits,
Hmm.
I can do like, I don't know, 9 or 10 shots, still be fine.
Yeah, yeah,
Beer, I drink 1 or 2 cans. I'm just like, man, I wish I didn't do that. Why did I do
yeah.
that?
I I mean, like when it comes to beer, I just like a good cider, but I would only drink like a can of it at most, maybe. I mean, sometimes in my drunk collabs, I do bring like out like a certain apple cider or like the whatchamacallit, or like a rosé cider. I usually like drink those because those are like the only ciders that I super tolerate the most. But man,
Fair enough, fair enough.
when it just comes to like regular beer, I just don't enjoy drinking it.
It's why normally when I go to a party, I just bring along my own gin and some tonic. I'm just like, yeah, I'll spare myself the problem of all these people just bringing over copious amounts of beer. I'm just like, yeah, I know you guys have like 7 or 8 varieties of beer here, but can we do some spirits, please?
Mm. Yeah, and
uh,
then the worst scenario when there's no spirits, and thank God I'm in like the Asian communities. When it comes to like the party scenes, they have all the soju, and I'm just like, you know what, fuck it, I'll just take a soju. That's better.
yeah, soju's just staple.
Yeah, it is. It is
Hard to
very
go
stable.
wrong with just soju, really. Because, yeah, one particular bottler around my area, it was like 3 bottles of this stuff, like $10, and that's cheaper than buying like bubble tea for the same price. So we're just like,
Right.
it's just like, man, okay, sure. Because average bubble tea or boba down here is like $7 or $8, and it's just like,
Mm.
Christ, that's pricey.
I think that's roughly the same in my area too. Although I did hear there was a boba shortage.
Is there? Heck.
Yeah, I think I don't remember if it was just America alone, but I did hear in like a couple of like news articles they were just like, "Oh, you better be careful and drink all the boba you can because they're gonna have a shortage this year." And I'm just like, "How?"
But isn't drinking more just going to accelerate the shortage?
Yeah, I'm just like, it's just gonna accelerate it. I'm just like, "What are you doing?"
Oh, that reminds me of like one of the dumbest incidents that Australia had by far. And it was near the start of COVID when we had the toilet paper shortage.
Oh my god.
Like, it was uniquely an Australian problem, yet somehow spread to the rest of the world. And we were just like, wait, but Australia produces more than enough toilet paper on its own. Why the
Oh.
hell? But yeah, essentially, what would happen is anytime you went into a supermarket that would sell toilet paper, the entire shelf would be cleared out, or there would be people fighting over it. And
Mm,
they were
mm,
fighting tooth and nail for the stuff. We were just like some brawls broke out. People tore into each other. We were just like, what the hell is going on here?
man.
Like I've had a friend which lived out in the city somewhere, and his family had toilet paper delivered. Only
Mm.
when they checked on it, when the delivery arrived, they
Oh.
watched someone snatch it and run off.
No. Yo! Oh, that's nuts. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
in America, it's not well, okay, I feel like America's just bad in general, even outside of having, like, a shortage because, like, Black Friday is, like, a really big thing, and they beat the shit out of people when it comes to Black Friday.
Oh
Jeez,
man.
that's crazy. I was like, "Who steals toilet paper?" You're just like, "Honey, I stole some toilet paper. How many rolls did you get?"
No, I got to the point of like black market dealings of just, oh yeah, go on eBay, look at toilet paper. Holy
Oh,
hell, why
good
is it
God.
marked up so much? Like one 24 pack was going for like $300 and there were like a dozen bidders and we're just like, what the hell is going on? Like,
That's nuts.
yeah, that's absolutely nuts. And it got to the point where there was even a tragedy reported on national TV of just like a truck carrying toilet paper that had burnt down and it was just fully covered. It's just like full news coverage of the damn thing, national news, and we're just like, what the hell is going on out there? At that point, I hadn't stepped out of the house for like 3 months, and I was just like, man, Australia's a weird place.
Yeah. I whenever, like, sometimes I, like, talk to my mother, but, she is always so afraid of, Australia because, like, the media always says, like, "Oh, look at all these spiders in your home. Look at all these snakes in the bathroom." And she's just like, "I am just so terrified because, like, I'm just gonna get bit by a snake or a spider, and I just don't know what to do anymore." I'm just like, Ma, that's I don't think that's how Australia works, but okay."
Because in general, when it comes to, let's say, when it comes to Australia, yeah, we're known for being that place underneath a rock. So you lift up a rock in a garden, that's Australia, just right there.
Oh, no.
And yeah, for myself, there are three things in this world that I do terrible with, that I have to deal with on an almost daily basis. First on that list is puns. I am god awful with puns. Please never tell me a pun. I will tear your throat out at some point. Second is spiders. I am a goddamn arachnophobe and I live in Australia. That's
Yeah, I was
fun.
gonna say,
God
that's a
freaking
fucking
damn it. And the last are snakes.
homie. Why are you in Australia?
Exactly. And I live like 50 meters from the bush. So it really does not help. Because, let's
Yeah,
see. You've heard of brown snakes before, yeah? The hyper aggressive ones.
yeah,
You just get in their
yeah.
general direction, or you breathe on them, or whatever. You're just in the air.
Yeah.
They'll start chasing you to the ends of the earth. I've stepped on two of those.
Oh,
I am lucky to be alive. God damn. Also, this one man in chat making a pun. God damn you.
Sykes?
Yep.
Ah, yes, excellent. My chat and I, we're we like puns.
Oh god. All right. Let's shift onto that then. Let's talk a bit about audience appeal then. What kind of audience do you find yourself ending up with or gathering?
Um, that's a really good question. They do enjoy farting around.
I noticed that one redeem and I was like,
Yeah,
I'd come to
they
at least 5 of your streams without having heard it once. And then in one stream, like 3 or 4 times in a row, I'm like, why? What is going on?
yeah, yeah. Instead of having hype trains, we tend to have fart trains, you know? And it's quite the doozy, I gotta say.
Oh god. Why is it like that? It's got reverb
Dude,
and everything.
dude, that's the whole point. It's the reverb that makes it, that gives it that nice touch.
That nice. Oh my god.
I don't know. When it comes to audiences, I mean, I'm going to assume it's 18 plus. I don't think I have like a super duper young audience. I have seen a couple of people that are like teens, but I don't really like pay attention to that. I don't know. It's just yeah, it's just people who pass by really.
Hmm.
Like I feel like that's what it is. And then when I see some familiar faces and names, I just go, oh, hey buddy, how's it going? You know. But for the most part, my audience has been very nice. They've been really nice, super fun to interact with. They they respond to things, and when they don't, they usually just like listening to me like in the background, or it's honestly, I feel like they're very chill. It's a very
Hmm.
chill audience, and they're very polite, and they're really nice. They like to joke around, and they could like have like fun banters, and it's not like a toxic place. I whenever I try to like whenever I stream, I try to make my place as like a safe place in a way where people can stop by the cafe and just relax and zone out, or do whatever. I mean, obviously, like, we have the rules of like don't be a dickhead, or all that shenanigans, but yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I have yet to really enforce any of those rules, because they kind of like get it. It's kind of like etiquette 101, you know?
Hmm. Just common human decency, I suppose, in
Yeah,
which case.
yeah, essentially,
Hmm. I don't know, minors tend to be a point of contention in the VTubing space for whatever reason, I'd say.
Well, I feel like when it comes to minors, there's a lot of things that you need to like think about, like, one, how are they interacting with you? Two, how comfortable are you interacting with them? Three, there's a lot of things even outside of the VTubing community where there's like, for the past, like, I don't know, maybe like 2-3 years, there's people left and right, famous people, not so famous people, just getting called out of just like, hey, this person was talking to a minor sexually or romantically, and it scares them because honestly, like, if like a minor comes in and says, hey, like, I'm in love with you or something like that, like, if
Oh
you're old enough,
boy, yeah.
that's a little bit uncomfortable, and sometimes if you're not um I'm not going to say experienced, because that sounds a little bit weird, but if you're not used to responding to certain situations like that, it can be very, very difficult. And I feel like in the VTubing community, there's, let's be honest, we're kind of, we have like a hint of nerd, we have a hint of social anxiety, we have a hint of like not being an outcast, but like y- you're not, you sometimes just don't know how to react to certain like social situations, and I feel like because of that, the VTubing community is a little bit more on their guard about like talking to minors, I guess.
Hmm. Alright, in which case, would you call yourself particularly introverted then?
um yes, in a way where I do get a social drain. um I think I know how to talk to people. I don't mind listening and
Sorry, that was a
interacting.
sneeze. Oh,
You're good.
Christ. Ah.
Gesundheit. Victor Hasties. Um,
Spare me, spare me.
um, yeah, I know how to talk to people. I can listen to them and not say anything, or I can like listen to them and also engage and put like some input in there. Um, Sometimes I do struggle a little bit with wording things because surprisingly, I am an ESL. English is my second language. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, so wording is a little bit. It can be awkward for me, but it doesn't really bother me. Um, the part where I am an introvert is where, like, if I go out in social hangouts, or whenever I go overload on the socializing, I get drained. I need me time. I need alone time to like to rejuvenate, to recover from it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if like for me, my eyes as a person who is an extrovert, they get energy from being with people, and they kind of get a drain by being alone, is how I
Oh,
see extroverts.
okay. So kind of a glass half full, glass half empty kind of analogy, I
Essentially.
suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, essentially.
Because, yeah, for myself, yeah, I know that feeling of social drain, essentially.
Mhm.
There's a reason I only hang out with people so many times a week and just be like,
Right.
yeah, I am gonna go be a potato for a day. And I normally save like Fridays for that, where I just go like,
Mhm.
yeah, I am completely dead. You are probably not gonna be able to contact me until nighttime, so good luck with
Right,
anything you
right,
need.
right.
I kind of broke that rule. Let's see, I kind of broke that rule this week when a bunch of other Sydney side VTubers wanted to hang out and go for drinks and
Mm.
whatnot. And that was fun. That was fun meeting those guys. Seeing
Mhm.
what a couple of them were like IRL and meeting a couple of them again. But yeah,
Yeah,
that was
catching up isn't.
a weird night in some cases.
Uh-oh.
Because how does one put it? When we first wanted to go drinking, so we were finishing up with like hot pot at this one up, kind of fancy place, I guess.
Hmm.
So saw off two of the other fellas, like Blue, Nana, Asteria, those two. Saw them off,
Mhm.
and then we were left with like a koala, a cat, and some pom poms essentially. Anyhow,
Mhm.
this lot, one of them was like, "Oh yeah, I have a very steep discount at certain bars," and we are like, just like, "Damn, all right, show us the way."
Oh God, that's an adventure and a half.
We got led all the way to the other side of a harbor. And when we got to the place, they were like, "Oh yeah, we're closing down soon." We're just like, "Man, man,"
Man.
and they're just, and let's see, Haruchi was pretty much just like, "Oh yeah, let's get some shots for the road." We're just like, "All right, sure," and it ends up being tequila, just poured out in some glasses, and we're just like, "All right, shot tequila back on the road. Let's find another bar."
Oh God.
And yeah, then we arrived. We arrived at the other bar, and it was there was like one or two tables left, so we were just lucky enough to get a seat.
Mhm.
And that turned into, okay, let's start off with whatever regular sipping drinks, and then it became shots, more drinks, and then whatnot. And as it turned out, being a member of staff happens to get you a lot of benefits. Apparently,
Damn. Okay. Okay.
it was the point where we're just like, wait, aren't these drinks a little stronger than they should be? And we're just like, damn, all right. And also, apparently, they don't serve shots to regular customers. They only
Oh.
serve shots to staff members and whatnot. And we're just like, what the heck? Okay, sure. Lots of benefits.
That is.
But yeah, I had to jump early from that because I'd missed my last train back otherwise. But the rest of those guys, I think they went pretty ham that night because
Ah, damn.
most of them didn't come back to like 2, 3 a.m. And it was just like, man, just how much did you guys drink? And I checked Twitter and they went for at least like 3 or 4 more rounds. I was just like, I know it's cheap, but still, buddy.
Oh man, I haven't had that kind of outing in quite a while.
Mm-hmm. COVID has killed quite a lot of those, to say the least, anyhow.
Oh, I mean, for obvious reasons, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Although things have been opening up, so we'll see how it goes.
Mm-hmm. Alright, let's see. I'll ask another curveball question in that case. Just in simple regards to the direction that the indie VTubing scene's going, more or less.
Mm.
So, with this whole pandemic sort of starting to wash over and whatnot, Do you think that we'll see a moderate kind of decline in viewership, or just people becoming streamers in general?
I think like it's a little bit of both. I always wonder when like not a phase but a trend would fade. I do wonder, how strong will this community be as an indie VTuber? It's very interesting to me to see that whenever you see familiar faces like on Twitch as viewers, um it kind of like they all, not all of them, but like a good chunk of them bleed into other VTubers,
Mm-hmm.
and I find that very interesting, and I find that incredibly incredibly great because like they're part of the community and they watch you and they support you. But like um, all of us have lives outside of VTubing, and some people might take it seriously. Some people might pursue this like maybe I'll do this full time, blah 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 blah. We'll see how it goes. But I'm already for the past like 2 months now. I'm already seeing people saying I gotta quit. Like I'm quote unquote graduating, and um, it's really interesting to see that, I guess, in a way, because I think about it and I'm just like, oh yeah, like I guess people have other things to do and they might not have the time to be as dedicated anymore. um I don't know. I feel like the VTubing community was something people is some and maybe is something that people need even right now, but I feel like they needed it even more during COVID because shit gets lonely, man. Especially if you're more of an introvert. And for this one, this was an opportunity for people like us to be able to interact with strangers and kind of not get as burnt out, I guess, because everything's like online. But you're able to make new friends, you're able to make new connections, and I think that's honestly a really beautiful thing. And hopefully, outside of the pandemic, maybe we can all meet up with each other one day. Like, who knows? I just find that very exciting, And
Mm-hmm.
it's not just like a social aspect. I also think as because for me, when I switched, I used to be an IRL streamer, but I switched to VTubing because it was a lot more convenient for me. Um, I've always considered my stream, and as a content creator, I've always considered this as more of a side hustle than something that I would like pursue full time. But yeah, that's something that I've always seen, and I'm very curious to see what other VTubers think of it, because sometimes as much of a social community the indie VTubers are, some people consider it as a little bit of a business too, because like if you're streaming or if you're making content, that's kind of a little bit of a business, if you're making money, that's a little bit of a business or an investment, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
always curious to see how people go. And because of that whole business aspect of it, there's always going to be that competitive or like that competitive mindset a little bit for some people. um it's kind of just like oh, you're making your way up there, and people think about numbers, people think about all these things, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like in the end, I don't think it will fully disappear per se, but I do definitely see a realistic. I did realistically. I definitely do see that decline because like people actually need to like go out there and make a living too.
Mm-hmm. In which case, do you find yourself here for the long term, even as just a side hustle? Or do you think you'd pop
Yeah,
out soon? Oh, okay. Alright
yeah.
then.
I think I'm gonna stay here for a little more, for a little longer. I've always done streaming, for a very long time. So it's something that I enjoy. It's kind of like one of those things where it's just like, it's not my full career, but god damn, it's something that I really like to do. And this is the closest thing at the moment that I could consider as a dream job in a way. Um, but of course, I have my typical 9 to 5 job, which I'm still very thankful and I still love my job. But yeah, I just feel like for me, I want to be able to create a community in at least in my bubble, so that I can have like people interact with each other or interact with me and so on and so forth. But yeah, I feel like this is definitely going to be a little bit more of a long run. So audience, please stick with me, fam. You're gonna have to suffer with me a little bit longer.
Personally, I think I'll probably stick around for the long run as well, whether that be just in VTubing or just in streaming in general,
Mhm.
because I had a taste of what it was like all the way at the top. And then after that, it's just like, you keep chasing that high and wanting to get back all the way over there and try and remember what it
Mhm.
was like up there.
Yeah.
Because former radio host, that was just a case of, man, I didn't necessarily earn all of that audience myself, is what I'll say. But I
Hmm.
did have that audience just thrown at me, and I was like, okay, hell, you just threw me at 50,000 people. Why? I've done very little to earn this apart from happening to intern for like a couple of months, and then, yeah, them thinking, oh yeah, he's got a good voice. Let's shove him on and see what happens.
I mean, hey, that's an opportunity.
Yeah, it was a rather fun one while it lasted, but internships, they don't always last.
I mean, it's an internship.
And eventually you got to consider, do you want to continue doing this kind of content or do you want to move on? And in the end I decided radio wasn't necessarily the only thing I wanted to do for the rest of my life, so I decided to move on instead.
Hmm.
So here, VTubing and whatnot just kind of paints itself as that extra outlet I can use for whatever skills that I had built up. And for myself, public speaking and kind of theatrical work was stuff that I was used to.
Hmm.
So yeah, it naturally kind of lined up. And I don't know, these days I'm more so like support staff rather than someone in the limelight. So hey, what works, I suppose. And it's part
I
of
think
why I
it's
go for these interviews, because yeah,
yeah.
it's highlighting someone else's content rather than my own, because I've been out there long enough. Everyone else should have a little time.
Absolutely. I think that's a beautiful thing that you're able to put your past experiences and using it for the present time. Um, I always feel like whenever I joke about like people having phases or like people like moving on and all that shenanigans, I feel like sometimes it's necessary to have that kind of change for the better. Um, and sometimes it's hard. It's most likely going to be hard, but I just feel like change is good,
Hmm.
and doing these kinds of things is good. And I don't know. I just find it very fascinating. I think it's really awesome to see, um, like you putting your skills into things like this. I think that's actually a really awesome thing to do. I see people like maybe focusing more on the theatrical aspect of them actually acting out as the character, or like there's actually one VTuber that I do look up to, but I don't really interact with this person. Only because of like time and sorts. But Sister Abigail, um,
Ah. Hmm.
she uses her upbeat personality, but not only that, she uses her experience with religion, and she uses it for not only for entertainment purposes, but also for for someone who, like, if she can help somebody, then she'd be super happy. I feel like those past experiences, and she's using it, she's harnessing that skill, and she entertains her audiences and helps her audience that way. And using the like a VTubing, or using something in the present, I find that very remarkable, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Christ, my throat has not been the same since like 3-4 weeks ago. Jesus Christ.
Oh no.
I don't know. I went drinking once with a different VTubing lot. My throat has never come back the same, and I've unfortunately never been able to practice singing too well since. So my skills in that regard have dropped off as well. It's just like, god damn it. But yeah, being able to import skills is something I find that's the beauty of something as diverse as streaming, really.
Mm-hmm.
Because sure, most people think live streaming, oh yeah, you're just playing a game online or whatever, and you're probably just hitting like 1 or 2 buttons to go record and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But when you realize, for say, an IRL streamer, all the amazing amounts of consideration that needs to be taken to produce that kind of experience, then you realize, yeah, there's a lot you have to import here. Say, if you want a lighting technician and your webcam was kind of terrible, then yeah, you should probably look up how to handle spotlighting and diffusion of light and whatnot, just to make sure that you can give that kind of experience nonetheless. Oh, yeah, you have nothing to do with overlays? Look a bit into graphics, perhaps. You know nothing about audio? Perhaps invest in a mic and study a bit and figure out what works, what doesn't, and whatnot.
Right.
For instance, part of my current course as being like an audio engineer is essentially just going in, picking out the right microphone for the right job, and then setting it up for whatever purpose it's required for. Whether that be for a lectorial sort of affair, or a full band or ensemble playing. So, yeah. There's all kinds of crazy skill sets that you can wildly apply to this field, and that's part of the beauty of seeing people come from all kinds of different fields as well. Like, if there's anything you've imported before, what would it be?
Sorry, repeat the question one more time.
If there's any kind of skill that you've imported from IRL, what would you say?
Let's see.
Or just knowledge in general, any kind of know-how or practical skills.
That's really tough. Because I've only just recently started to become a little bit better with different things. If anything, it's not really knowledge per se, but I guess it's a little bit of knowledge, but it's more of like obtaining the skill of consistency.
Oh, okay.
I feel like that is incredibly useful just outside of being an IRL streamer or a VTubing or VTuber streamer. Having the consistency of doing something and trying to create a habit for your own good and for your own gain is probably the most important thing that I think I've learned as an IRL streamer.
Fair enough, in which case, because yeah, I will say consistency does lead to practically everything that one could need, essentially.
Right. Yeah.
Anyhow, someone redeemed the hydrates. Take a sip if you've got anything.
I do have some water.
Okay. But yeah, I will say consistency is definitely key just in whatever field in general, because the more you do something, the better you get at it.
Right, exactly.
And I don't know, I find that as one of the unfortunate things in the VTubing community, where people will just stream a couple of times, if not stream very sporadically, and never really get used to that aspect of things. And then suddenly you'll see them on hiatus, and then you'll never see them again after that.
Yeah, yeah. Again, like, I feel like when people say, "Oh, VTubing is easy," it's a very heavy yes and no question. Like, yeah, sure, it's easy if you don't take it seriously. It's like if you're just doing it as a social thing, then yeah, of course, it's easy. Okay, like you just do whatever you want. But if you're trying to take it seriously, I don't think it's as easy as people say. It's it's again, it's the whole consistency thing. It's kind of like working out in a way. Sometimes you're not going to want to work out. Sometimes you don't want to do those fucking squats. But you gotta do it, man. I mean, if you have the choice to not do it, you have the choice of having a rest day, but it won't get any easier even though you have that rest day. You know, rest is. I feel like taking a break and resting is, of course, something. It's not a luxury. I think it's self-care is a necessity. So obviously, like, yeah, take a break by all means. Like, you need it because in order to be consistent, you got to take some breaks, because if you burn out yourself too much, then like you're not really gonna go anywhere. So I feel like the balance of being consistent, like you need to be consistently working and you need to consistently also have those rest days at the same time, And I feel like some people don't understand that. Um, that like I think people just don't really. They're either like not aware of it or they're in denial of it. Of like within consistency also comes with balance, and if the scales are tipped, then things are gonna be a little bit rough for you.
Alright, in which case, what would you call taking VTubing seriously then? At what point does it cross from something casual or for fun into something where you would consider it as something serious?
Well, first off, it's you can obviously like have fun and take it seriously at the same time. That's the first. I'll put that on there.
Alright.
You can definitely have fun and do this thing. When it comes to doing it seriously, it would be something that involves with your livelihood. I think that if you're going to take it seriously, you would think of, all right, my model and about this, and if I streamed about this much, and if I get all the donut goals, like at this point, it will make a profit. And then you start thinking about like, oh, maybe I can use this gear, or yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's basically when you start thinking about it like a little bit more on the financial side of it, and also you're actually seriously like networking with people, not just socializing, networking with people. I think that's kind of like the extent to me, or at least that's like the line of taking it seriously versus doing it very casually.
Networking, eh? I've always hated the term, but it's unfortunately something I've always had to engage in.
I mean, I totally get that too. I fucking hate networking. Like, I hate it with a passion, because in some ways, it's like a job interview in a way. You have to like kind of like show your feathers and be like, yeah, I'm impressive. Like there's a reason why you want to work with me here. And for me, I'm just like. I'm not that kind of person, IRL. I just like kind of goof off and just be like, guys, I'm a fucking loser.
Oi, oi. Oh, man. And I just really hate the concept of it, because it's just like, every social interaction you have has to progress some kind of goal, and I'm just like, I just want to socialize sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to think of what advantages I can derive from a
Mm-hmm.
specific social interaction. That just makes it all the more stressful. It's just a case of, hey, let's have a chat. That's about it.
Yeah.
Rather than,
Yeah. Yeah.
hey, let's have a chat because I have something you may want and you have something I want.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
No,
kind
I
of,
personally don't like
yeah.
it either.
Because, yeah, I really dread that part of the VTubing community where it's a case of if you're someone with numbers, somehow you're desirable regardless of what kind of content you are actually putting out. Or whether the
Yeah.
person cares about your content or not. And for that, I'm just like, to hell with that for the most part. Because
Yeah. No,
I am the kind of idiot that started from zero basically and didn't care about
mm-hmm.
any kind of debut culture or anything. I just flew right into it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I had a,
I think
yeah,
that's totally valid.
because, yeah, I just had a leg up from one guy, and from there I had to source everything else myself. I was just
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, I've got like maybe 50 people that might give me the time of day. That's about it.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Mm-hmm.
let's go from here. But I do kind of find it a miracle that anyone that people I've approached are just accepting of an interview. I'm just like, you sure? You sure about that, buddy?
Really?
Buddy, I'm gonna take like 2-3 hours of your time. You sure you want to do this?
I think that's honestly, I think that's a really cool thing. I don't know. I feel like interviews are fun, you know, because like I get to talk to you as a person, you know, in a way. I don't know. I just find it very entertaining. So I feel like I remember when you asked me, I was just like, shit, he wants to talk to me. I was just like, what the fuck am I gonna say? He's seen my streams. I do a lot of fart jokes. I'm just like, oh my god.
Mind you, I only found out about those maybe like 2 days ago, but I had somehow managed to tune into so many of your streams without ever encountering them until like Friday, and I was like,
I'm gonna be real with you. That's honestly statistically impressive.
nah, just that aspect of I'm kind of tired of just that feeling of networking. So anyone whose content I find nice is who I just pick out and just go like, hey, you want to chat for a bit?
Yeah, I mean
And
that's
yeah.
honestly that that's the way things should be. Like if you want to interview a person and get to know them, just ask, you know? And I feel like you said, networking is a pain in the ass, and it's very clear that you don't interview people because they're famous or they're known to do like this. It's just you just genuinely enjoy them a lot, you know?
Hmm.
And I think that's a very good thing to do. And honestly, I think it gives hope to people in a way. Um, you
uh,
know, because like a lot of people they get discouraged, you know, they'll be like, oh, I'm never gonna get interviewed by this person or by so and so because I clearly don't have the followers, or I clearly am not, like, you know, like I'm not good enough for it, when there are
mhm.
people like you that just go, hey, this person seems pretty legit, or they seem pretty cool. Interview? Finger guns, eh? You know?
Because, nah, like, when I initially came into this community and found out about Domo, I was just like, ah, yes, my content has already been made irrelevant. Great. Guess I'll just pick whoever I feel like interviewing, because I don't need to chase people with numbers.
Domo's tough, man. I like the guy. I think he's really, like, stepped up, and he's had the wonderful opportunity to interact with a little bit more well-known VTubers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's just that it's very, it's not like clear, but there's definitely that gap of like his audience versus like Domo himself, or like, you know, smaller indie VTubers, and in the chances of, you know, interacting with him or having like an interview, it's a little bit more tough because now he's like considering it a lot more seriously, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and the audience can be very overwhelming because he it's very clear that he has like a huge audience and now, you know, and his the Domodachi interviews is probably the closest thing he can offer to interact with smaller indie VTubers, you know.
The more
And
rapid fire kind of stuff. Yeah.
yeah, the more rapid fire kind of stuff, you know. Um but yeah, I don't know, like it's interesting to see that gap, and he still tries his best to still interact with the VTubing community even with like the smaller people, you know.
Yeah, there is that effort thrown in, as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned.
Yeah.
But yeah, the interview scene, there are some cases where it's like, it's clearly chasing clout, and it's just like, I feel kind of disgusted watching this, because it's like, you don't really throw in the effort to figure out that person's content or actually
Mhm.
get to know the person. You're just there
Mhm.
because their numbers are going to rub off on you somehow.
Mhm.
And that's just when I start getting that really bad feeling about it. It's like, nah, I can't really stand behind this kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
there are a couple of them out there. I won't toss around names necessarily, but
No, no, of course not.
there are some people where I'm just like, please improve your craft a bit more.
Mhm.
Get to know how to talk to people, keep the conversation running, not
Yeah.
just have like a bunch of dead space over and over. I'm just like, because yeah,
Absolutely.
there are some people out there where I'm just like, this is very difficult to listen to. This is a very hard sell.
Mhm.
And the only reason you can sell it is because you're either A, already pre-established, or B, your guest is already pre-established. I'm just like,
Mhm.
man. What I do
It's very
for
tough.
what I do for certain opportunities like that, but at the same time I'm trying to put myself beyond that and just be like, okay, if I'm interviewing someone, I need to actually engage with their content or be genuinely interested in the person.
Mhm. No, absolutely.
Not just a case of, oh, they have numbers, or oh, they have clout. Let's do a bit of chasing, or let's chase some tail. Because at the end of the day, who the hell is going to keep looking at you when there's no more tail to chase, really?
Right. Yeah. No, it absolutely. It's nice to see interviewers like, I guess, care about the person that they're interviewing, not just because of like how well known they are, but like just the fact that, you know, you've seen me play Final Fantasy 14, like, you know, pretty much 24/7 at this point. Um, but yeah, I just feel like it's really important to get to know the person, even if it's just 10 minutes, or even if it's just like you guys like exchanging DMs once in a while, or you watching their streams and all that. I feel like it's very important to show that you're willing to put the amount of effort to make the interview go smoothly and not have that like you said, that dead space, you know.
Because yeah, I pretty much throw in just that building the rapport essentially.
Mhm.
It's it's what I did at my old radio gig, and that was more a case of, even if you just only have 10 minutes on air, make sure it is the best goddamn 10 minutes that you can pump
Yeah.
out, which is why I had to talk with the interviewee extensively, potentially do a pre-interview and whatnot. And then finally, when it came time to do the interview, we were set to go, and it was close to reading like a script with a bit of candidness added to it.
Mm, mm-mm.
Because that was my specialty in theatre, even when I was still an actor doing stage plays. It was a
Mhm.
case of I would memorize the script almost perfectly, in such a case that if anything were to go wrong on stage by any of the other actors, I could then improvise and drag the whole lot back on track in the
Right.
end.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, so that's what I more or less did when I was at radio. Just get to know the person enough that even if there's anything unexpected that crops up, it's still possible to drag things back online. And that's the logic I've followed for a majority of these interviews as well. Know the
No,
person
honestly,
enough,
it
or
works.
yeah. Because the very first interview I did was with a fella named Blue, and that guy I'd known for like 5 years plus IRL, and he dragged me into this whole VTubing scene more or less because I was just
Oh,
worried to hell
really?
about the cunt. It was just a case of, buddy, you're really doing this. Okay, sure, I've got your back.
Oh,
Let's
no.
see where the hell this goes, and it ended up dragging me into it, and like, because it was a case of, there were some friends that were just debuting at a certain time. I was like, you know what, Blue, you can get in on this. You can make some friends. These people are friends of friends, so let's see what happens if I throw them in with you. I got dragged in as a middleman playing mahjong, essentially.
Nice, nice.
And from there, yeah, just spiraled from there. As it happens,
That's
anyhow.
awesome.
But yeah, I will have to ask, because I did write it down at some point. So, what exactly specifically drew you to VTubing? Like, you said you were an IRL streamer before, so what made you take the leap to switch it up?
Honestly, the sheer laziness of trying to doll myself up on IRL stream.
Okay.
I am usually one to be like, you know, you don't have to doll yourself up. Like, I truly believe that, it's okay to not wear makeup. It's okay to not wear like certain clothing to attract attention. I personally thought like, you really don't have to do that. But in all reality, for me, I do get nervous. Like, I'm human too. I do get self-conscious. I do get anxiety from, whether people don't like the way I look because I look messy, or I don't like. It's kind of like when people put standards in streaming at times, But yeah, that honestly, it's not like it scared me, but it definitely has given me a little bit of that kind of pressure. But when I saw VTubing, and I was just like, oh yeah, I guess I could be 2D. Like, that's actually a lot more. That's like, I'll look the same technically. Like, I'll look like this. I'll look good constantly, and I'm anime. It's a win-win scenario for me, And I feel like when I saw the VTubing, like the models and stuff, and how like expressive they can get, I was just like, honestly, this can work. Like, and I just kind of just said fuck it and become as anime,
Become as anime. Yeah,
Become as
that
anime.
was actually the logic my friend had, or Blue had. He just wanted to be anime.
Yeah, like it's literally as simple as it gets. I was just like, I just want it to be anime. I don't like. You too can be a 2D waifu.
Because at first he was going to go into more IRL style streaming, and he had pretty much set up everything to do it. The only thing that was preventing him was his location. And eventually he did move places and had a better location of sorts to work with. But at that point, he had already gone all in on VTubing.
Yeah.
And nowadays, he moved location again, and that's caused a different problem of his internet being somehow 3 times worse than mine.
I was gonna say, didn't he like mention how much like his new place sucks or something like that? I don't remember.
Yeah, his net has become 3 times worse than mine, and that is an achievement.
Oh no.
Anyhow, another hydrate, take a sip.
Thank you. Hydrate.
And yeah, I get what you mean with needing to do all that extra preparation for the IRL aspect, and even then, if you're playing a game, your IRL is just a webcam that's like in the bottom corner or some corner of the screen, but a lot of people put that extra bit of emphasis on it because you
Right.
can see reactions, expressions, the human kind of aspect to it.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, though, I'm not sure people want to see the rest of my room, because if I were to turn on my webcam, all you would see is a couple of brown paper bags that were probably meant to hold alcohol bottles, a ruffled up bed, a pair of green curtains of which is covering the sunlight, which would flashbang the camera. God knows what kind of paintbrushes and random paint pots on my table, a set of dice, a couple of empty cans. I should really clean up, honestly, but nonetheless, pretty sure not too many people would want to see that.
Yeah. I get that.
Oh, and the
Yeah,
last,
so
yeah,
sorry. I
yeah.
did hear I did hear dice. What kind of dice?
It's a full dice set, so D4 up to D20.
Nice, nice. Do you just randomly got it or did you get it from like a indie dice maker?
Just from a game store, so I just picked up some standard sets, essentially.
Nice, nice, nice. I'm a very big D&D fan actually.
Oh boy.
Yeah, funny enough.
Please tell me you haven't tuned into any of my sessions that I run here. Please tell me you
Um,
don't.
I do. I've. When I was for the past week, when you asked, I actually kind of skimmed through, and I have
Oh no 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 no
definitely,
no no.
I definitely have bookmarked it while for my work.
Oh
But
god.
I just love D&D, man. It's I think it's really fun. I also I have. I'm so much of a dice goblin that I make my own dice.
Oh oh wow. Actually, okay.
Yeah,
Wait, what kind
I
of
am
dice?
very.
How do the dice look? Now I'm curious.
Oh, jeez. I wonder if I have any. Do I have any pictures at the moment? I don't have pictures on me. It's on my phone, and my phone's like all the way on my bed, and I'm a little bit lazy to get it. But they're just your typical standard, like, you know, kind of sharp edge. They're not like super fancy, but they are sharp edged um resin dice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I just really enjoy making dice. It's just a really fun thing for me to do as a side hobby for me.
I mean, the one weird thing I do when it comes to just randomly creating stuff is just Japanese braiding. That stuff is, man,
Mm,
that stuff is kind of whack, and I just spend way too much time for what it ends up producing in the end.
hmm
For myself, it's more a case of the sentiment it provides. Just a case of, here you go, I spent like 13 hours on this, so at some point, yeah, ask me for 13 hours to do something. That's usually what I just give as more of a sentimental gift to someone. Just like, if you understand the
hmm
meaning behind this, then yes. That's good of you. But yeah,
That's awesome.
at D&D, man, with the people that I do it with, it is chaotic evil, no doubt, full on.
Oh, oh God.
And you know Casca and Chiari, those two.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
when they bounce off of one another, oh my god.
It's an energy. It's an energy.
Extreme lewd energy, and it's just like, buddy, please. It has gotten to the point where it's leaked into some of the magical items that I've had to create for them.
Oh no.
If you've been around the internet long enough and in certain spaces, then you already know what the term deep dark fantasies usually refers to. And good god.
Oh boy.
Yep. Yep, I had to make a magic item based around Gachi. All it does is it gives the actor feat. At one little expense, every time they don it, so every time Casca's character puts on the mask,
hmm
everyone else around him will magically perceive him as the performance artist, and not as his character.
Oh my god.
Yes, yes, it's kind of amazing, that item. It's gotten them
Mhm.
into some interesting situations before.
Oh, Jesus. It's always the adventures, man. It's always the adventures.
But yeah, speaking of which, the moment I posted out about the interview with you, I actually got a message from Casca, which was
Oh,
just
really?
straight up, "Oh, are you going to eventually interview everyone from Cosmos?" I'm just like, "Oh shit." I just realized what kind of rabbit hole I just dug myself into.
Oh, yeah, that's right, that's right.
I was just like, wait, how many members? He's like, "Oh, there's like 30 of them." I'm like, shit.
Yeah, the group is growing.
My god, they're all singers, right? Or at least
Yes,
a
it
good chunk
is.
of them are, yeah.
It's essentially a V singer concentrated group.
Oh, Christ, okay. Alright, I'll lead into one of the other questions I'd sent you then. Does being
Mm.
part of a group make any difference or substantial changes in the way you do go about things?
No. I usually treat the group as organic as I would. I'm usually pretty chaotic in that group, honestly.
My
I actually
experiences with that group is just chaos, though, because
yeah,
of that might
yeah,
be biased, though, because of the two members I dealt with.
right.
Yeah.
But the I don't mind like being chaotic and usually pretty chill. As a matter of fact, like I feel like that group specifically, um, we are collected in a way, but at the same time, we do our own thing. And I feel like as that kind of group, I think that's pretty healthy, you know? Like once in a while they'll do like collabs, or once in a while we'll do like a group singing thing, and like we kind of like help each other, be like, hey man, check out this cover, and then you could like retweet it, or you could do whatever you want. Um, I feel
Mhm.
like it's just more of an opportunity to either quote unquote network or interact with other VTubers, especially that have the similar hobbies, you know? Because I usually like to go there and ask other questions, because like I've only just started doing the whole V singing thing, so
Ah,
I have no idea how to like audio mix. I'm gonna be real with you.
uh-oh.
Um,
Nah, mixing has always been a myth when it comes to any kind of singing community.
Yeah, like literally when I posted my first cover, or like when I do any of my covers, like these people ask me, they're just like, Lenna, how do you do this? This is amazing. I'm just like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I literally just go on like audition and I just slap a reverb and that's all I do. Like that's really all I do. Like I don't know what the hell I'm doing most of the time.
Wow,
But
that natural then, okay. Hmm.
like because I do have a Rode NT1
Oh, okay.
microphone. Yeah, that
That's pretty
is
decent, I'll say.
yeah. Yeah, that's actually the thing that I'm using. Um but yeah, I just honestly I just don't know how people do it, and that's why I when I joined the group, it was a good opportunity for me to actually learn from them, because there are people who know what they're doing in the mixing aspect. And, you know, I'm
Hmm.
just like, hey, can you like help me with this? And they're just like, yeah, of course, absolutely, and they're more than happy to do it. Or like when someone needs to do like a little bit of a graphic design thing, I'm just like, hey, does anyone have like time to do this? Like I can like pay for a commission or do
Hmm.
whatever. And they're just like, yeah, sure, I'll totally do it. I'm just like, nice, thank you so much. Now I don't have to actively look and ask awkwardly if they're available or not. Um, but yeah, I feel like when it comes to groups, sometimes it can be a little bit more close knit. But for me, if you get invited to a group, or if you're like comfortable enough to join a group, think of it as just a learning opportunity and a chance to like get to know other people, you know? Um, in the end, I feel like it's best if you don't exactly like depend, like have a codependency um look at it. It's just more of like it's just a little bit more support that you can get,
Hmm.
um versus doing something like completely alone, you know? Because like I feel like in the end it's not like it won't make too much of a difference when you do things completely alone versus like you in a group, because like in the end you are still doing your own thing. I think what people need to be cautious about, at least, is a drama within the group. If I'm going to be like completely honest here, don't get me wrong, the Cosmos group, no drama, like absolutely no drama. Like there is not a single bit of drama.
All right then.
There was a group that I used to be in, and it got pretty awkward to the point where I needed to leave the group. Like I personally said, like, hey man, not gonna work out, I gotta dip. And I feel like people need to be, at least be cautious, or at least be aware of, like, you know, of just drama, because drama sucks. And it can lead to a lot of really toxic, unnecessary shit that I hate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think people like drama too much to completely eliminate it most of the time.
Oh, absolutely.
Because
I feel like it's inevitable.
It is something that at times is considered exciting, really. Because it's just a case of...
Oh, yeah.
It's a case of, oh yeah, this guy said this thing, or this person said this, or whatnot. Or, oh, we heard rumors about this or that. And generally, if you don't clear those up, people like layering on their assumptions and figuring out, trying to piece together some kind of picture that works in their head.
Right.
And at times, that's the super toxic part.
It is, yeah. And it's, like, don't get me wrong, like, I of course, I'll get curious to certain drama. If I see something, I'll be like, oh shit, I wonder what happened. Or like, oh shit, that happened, you know? I feel like that's natural, you know? It's just, again, it depends on A, how you do it, B, what you will do about it, and it's just really, just don't be a jackass about it, because it's more awkward because the VTubing community is so intertwined, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, you know, like if you go to an IKEA store and then you look at how clean the cables are of where you set up your desktop, but then when you look behind, it's just a jumbled up wires here and there tied up together, and it's just really scuffling. That's essentially how I see the VTubing community being intertwined.
One big plate of spaghetti, I suppose.
Yeah, pretty much. And I feel that's dangerous for drama. It's very, very dangerous, you know, because
yeah, one goes in one person's ear, goes out the other, whatnot.
Yeah. And then clicks begin to happen, and then people start siding with one another, or like, you know, they side against each other, and they're Group A and Group B, and then they just keep fighting, and it just gets really, really messy. It genuinely upsets me to see that cancel culture is definitely still a thing, and it's a very dangerous thing in this community too. I feel like, don't get me wrong, there are some things that need to be said, and I totally understand, you know, like if a person did something illegal, or if a person did something that's like, you know, pretty fucking bad, then yeah, sure. But if you're making a twit longer because a person just has a really bad personality, that kind of gets to me. I find that, for me, because I just don't think it's right to do that.
Give me a second here. I need to shoo away a dog, of which has decided to start snoring, because about 10 minutes ago he barged into my room and just sat down, and now suddenly, yeah. So give me a moment here.
Who's your puppy? Who's a good little puppy? Who's a good little puppy? Is a dozer or loser? Thank you for reminding me. You're welcome. So chat, should I surprise him with a deluxe fart later tonight? Like at the end of the stream? Do you think I should do that, chat?
Okay. Hold on a second here.
Mhm.
Alright. I'm back. I just had to close a couple of doors, shift the fella back downstairs and whatnot. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
The usual kind of affair.
Nice, 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 nice.
But yeah, Twitlonger, when it's about calling out one person, then it tends to be very extremely toxic, essentially.
Mhm. Because like, here's the thing. I understand if you had like a bad experience with a person, and that's totally valid. I think that's absolutely valid to, if you did not have fun with this person, or if you just like straight up you guys just don't vibe, or they did something that hurt your feelings. That's understandable. Like, I get it. That shit sucks. But is it worth doing a twit longer, posting it in public, and then these people who are reading it, who don't know the full story, start canceling this one person because you had that one bad experience with them?
Mm-hmm.
I genuinely find that incredibly unfair. And like, not to mention, are you prepared enough to also get backfired? Like, are you prepared for a backfire as well? Because then this person is obviously going to respond to it, and there's that chance where it would just totally backfire on you, and then now you have this image of just calling anybody out who you want just because. And I understand if it's like people are just saying, oh, but I'm doing it to warn others. I'm just like, okay, yeah, I understand that, but is it really worth doing this? Like, you're literally taking away their opportunity to grow as a person in this community and learn from their mistakes. Are you ready to do that? Like, that is a very big deal.
Because yeah, I'll
Go for it.
say that generally speaking, I'm someone who believes, at least has some modicum of faith in humanity, I guess. So generally speaking, no matter how severe most people go off the... give me a second here, my throat has just gone haywire again. Generally, I have some modicum of faith in people. Just a... Sure, you fucked up once, but okay. What can you do to fix this? Or are you in the process of fixing this? If yes, then fine. If you've decided to let it stand and not do a thing about it, then Christ alive, I am losing respect for you, essentially.
Right.
It's only at that point where I've lost all modicum of respect for someone that I just then decide, you are not worth my time, you are likely not worth anyone else's time, so if it ever comes to it, I will let people know. But apart from that, I won't say a word.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what I'm probably gonna get like shot in the foot for this one, but
Go
I feel like
ahead.
honestly that's a mature thing to do. And whenever people don't agree with it, I kind of just find them very immature, like emotionally immature. I'm just like, do you really need to have the validation of other people to agree with you that this person is bad? I was just like, no, can you like fucking man up, get some balls, and just block the person, or just tell them in the DMs, I can't get along with you because this, and this. Like, you really need to have other people validate your experience. And I don't know, I just feel like that upsets me to the core, because like, why, like, why are you this petty? I don't I don't understand why people would be that petty, you know? It's like, don't get me wrong, like, I have petty moments too. Like, I can be petty, but not to the point where I would cancel a person like that, you know? I just, it really hurts my moral. It's something that I just definitely can't stand, honestly.
Because, yeah, it's one thing to, remove someone from your own life, sure. It's another to try removing them from other people's. Because at what point do you have that say to just go like, oh, yeah, this person doesn't deserve your attention, etc. But what if they deserved your attention for completely different reasons, and the reason you gave wasn't particularly strong enough, yet you sowed that seed of dissent anyway and decided, oh, yeah, now you've got to choose between one person or the other. And that's the very abhorrent feeling of choosing sides, and I'm in the unfortunate position of being in the middle of a lot of conflicts within different spheres, I will say, is the thing.
Right.
And
And
it's
that's
a case of like, I don't want to choose either side. I know the two of you can't get along, or probably never will get along at any points. But nonetheless, either side is still my friend, and I am not going to give a damn.
yeah, exactly. And like, it's okay to just be like, it's okay to disagree with someone and still like be acquaintances with them or be friends with them, you know? Um, I just feel like in the end, you spend the most time with yourself, so do what you feel is right for you. It's like one of those things where I'm just like, when people are always worried, they're just like, "Oh my god, but I want to be like, I want to be supportive with my friends, and I want to do this," and I'm just like, and that's fine, that's okay. Stand up for what you think is right. You could still be friends with a person, and still stand up for what you think is right. Be your own person, and stand proud. Um, I feel like that is the most important thing to do when it comes to conflict and like drama. Being I guess the middleman, because like you could still be a middleman and still have opinions. Like let's be real. Like you could be friends with the person, and they may not agree with another person, right? And it's a lot more clear that you are still friends. Like you're closer to this to let's say person A, right? And they keep like talking shit about like person B, and then you end up listening to person B's story, and then you think to yourself, yeah, you both fucked up. Like you both fucked up equally. Like sure.
Man, I've had one case of that myself, personally.
Oh yeah. You know, but you shouldn't be just because you're a middleman or something like that. Don't be afraid to speak up your mind, you know? You could just be like, person A, I understand, and it's absolutely valid that your feelings got hurt and shitty things did happen, but the way you handled it was incredibly immature, you know? Like I'm like, you know, you're still friends with person A, and that's okay. But if you're an actual friend, it should be okay to call a person's bullshit out, you know? Because that's what I expect from my friends too, at least my close friends too. If I say something fucked up, or if I say like some stupid ass shit, or if I like shit talk about a person, and if it's like something that irks them, they should really say it. Like I expect them to not be afraid, because friendships should not be scary like that. You know, it, communication is always key.
Yep. Pretty much that case, because, yeah, the one time I made a massive mistake was telling an artist to swallow their pride, essentially. And, yeah, that ended up with about a year-long fallout. And, good lord, that was one really messy case to deal with.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, Christ. I'm lucky that I did follow up everything properly with everyone else who was dragged in to be involved.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, it was a case of falling out between between myself and one of my best friends at the time, and yeah, friendship turns to hate very, very easily.
It's you know, the closer you are to the person, things can get a little bit heated. You know, sometimes distance is necessary.
Yeah, in the case of this one, it was more or less they were pretty much under my employ or under my charge,
Hmm.
and I had to deal with it in a more professional manner, and they took the emotional route instead.
Yeah.
And yeah, I probably should have taken the emotional route and tried to sympathize, but I decided that the organization I was working with took more priority because it affected so many more people.
Hmm.
And I couldn't just keep making exceptions for someone who kept doing detrimental things to themselves over and over.
Hmm. Yeah.
Heck, they threatened that they wouldn't live past a certain age, and I'm just like, you're kidding, right? You're telling this to someone who has a savior complex and someone who just is absolutely traumatized by suicide. Have fun with the fallout of that.
Mm.
So it's just like, buddy, not a great idea to do that, first of all. And second, you've said so much to the point where why should I keep you under my charge anymore, and why shouldn't I just retire you?
Hmm.
And yeah, that was more or less a case of I didn't read into the politics of it very much, of the fact that the
Hmm.
person had a hand in way too many other places.
Hmm.
I'm just lucky I followed up properly with all of those other places and made sure that my own reputation wasn't dragged completely through the mud over the
Right.
incident. Because for myself, when it comes to drama, the important thing isn't the confrontation, it's the aftercare.
Yeah. Aftercare is very important, definitely.
Because you could win the argument, you could do God knows what else, but winning doesn't matter if you still lose the war at the end of things.
Yeah.
Because that's
Yeah.
just like, sure, you may have proven your bloody point, but why did you prove your point? What what
It's kind
what
of
does it
one of those
matter,
things where it's just
essentially? Yeah.
are you satisfied with the outcome? You know.
And it's a lot of cases where I'm like, conflict is okay. You just have to follow up on it properly. Because
Hmm.
if you don't follow up on it properly, then it leaves that sour aftertaste and it remains terrible. And for me, it's how it works with friends. You're going to fight. Anyone's going to fight, really. There is very rarely any kind of human interaction that doesn't come with some kind of conflict. But it is how you look beyond that fight and what you learn from doing so, clashing ideals or whatever, that eventually does just help you as a person or improve your relationship. Not necessarily just winning or having that be all and end all. That's
Hmm.
just nonsense. And it's why one part of the indie scene that I particularly hate is, you know what? I should nickname this actually. I'll nickname it toxic positivity. Because holy hell. You alright?
Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. Yes, please go on.
Because, yeah, in the case of toxic positivity, you can't say anything terrible about people. Because the moment you criticize someone or the moment you go ahead and say something against someone, per se, within this community, I'd say you're already on the back foot. And it is very difficult to criticize anyone for anything in that regard.
Again, I absolutely agree. Um, I think when it comes to criticizing people, or calling a person out, I think it's okay to call them out. It's just that the the audience's response, especially online, when you can't really tell what sarcasm is, or you can't really tell what, because it's
Yeah,
just,
because Poe's
you
Law,
know,
it's an amazing
yeah,
thing.
no, right? It's a lot harder to read um, a person's intentions, and especially with how sensitive certain communities can be, it's very tough because they might think criticism is something that you're attacking them with, you know, when really it's just, I'm just saying an opinion. You don't really have to take it to heart. It's just that if I think you said something wrong, I think you said something wrong. That's really it. And yeah, you could do that in the DMs. Like, that's fine too. But it's okay to call someone out publicly. Like, that's okay. You know? I don't know. It's just, I definitely understand the toxic positivity.
It's
The things where
still an interesting
everything,
phrase to use.
yes, it's where everything is hunky dory and everything is absolutely wonderful. And I don't, when it comes to like my Twitter and all that stuff, I usually, I don't really talk about like depression too much, or I don't really like talk about certain criticisms. But if I have to like, if I see something that really irks me, I'm just gonna be like, hey man, I don't think that's really cool, you know? um but I guess it really depends on like, A, is it harming somebody else? uh B, what merit are you gonna get from this? um and yeah, I just feel like it's a tough call, especially like when it's on social media, you know. For me, I think it's a lot easier uh when I DM it to people. Um Obviously I wouldn't like DM it out of the blue. I've had other people, I've had a person actually um talk to me about a certain thing that happened on their social media, and they got called out, and this person got absolutely offended by it, you know, and it brought it to like this weird spiral that they created on their own. And I had to like tell them, I was just like, dude, they just don't agree with what you said. Like, that's really it. They're not here canceling you. They're not doing anything. They're just saying they don't agree with with your method, and they're just like, yeah, well, they shouldn't have said that. I'm just like, then how else would have they said that? How else? Like, tell me a better way for them to say this, because for all I care, it just sounds like they just did not agree with what you said. And they're not like, again, they're not canceling you for it. They're not saying, "Oh my god, you're a bad person." It's just this one thing, and that's it. Like, fucking chill, my guy. And and I feel like, you know, it's fucking tough, man. I don't like, there's so many people. I'm gonna be that person. I'll be someone. Wait. Sorry, let me quickly do this real quick. So
Hi, hi.
sorry.
Eh?
Give me one.
Ah.
Sorry about that. I needed to change one thing real quick here. But anyways, yes, I just wanted to scream out, stop being so sensitive, but here I am just saying it out loud anyways.
No, it's fair enough. It's fair enough. Eh?
Actually, wait.
Wait, what was that?
Don't worry about it. Let me just do. Hi, everybody, stop being so fucking sensitive on the fucking internet. It's okay to have an opinion that you could disagree with. Going to my TED Talk.
Oh boy. Okay. Man. Yeah. I don't know. It's just everywhere you go, you have to say something's positive, and putting on that face of positivity is just like, man, why just let people be a bit down for once, or down without the need of always being, you know, hunky-dory, happy-go-lucky. Just a case
Eh,
of, yeah.
yeah. Um, it's just very tough because, like, some people need that hunky dory positivity, and that's understandable. Um, I can totally understand if a person would be like, oh wow, I really needed that. But there are some people that are just like, wow, it must be real nice that you could be this positive. You know,
Yeah.
everybody is going to be different, but for me, um, whenever it comes to things like that, and if I'm like friends with them and I can't handle that positivity, I just mute them. Like, honestly, I just fucking mute them. I genuinely don't like. It's not my style. I don't really care if I read it, but if I don't need to see it, I'm just gonna mute it. Like, I just, I don't know. I'm a little bit weird like that. Like, if I see something that I don't like, I just immediately just go, all right, I'm just muting it or blocking. If they're that bad,
For myself, I do really poorly with anyone who's hyper positive or just really claims to be a ridiculously wholesome person. It's just a case of too bright. This is way too bright.
Oh wow, are we gonna get along so well?
Hey Kai, thanks for the raid. Thanks for bringing
Hello,
some element of chaos.
Raiders. Oh yes, hello, Raiders. Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. Alright, let's see what you're up to, Kai. Oh, Psychopaths. Okay, so visual novel reading. Got it.
Ah, nice. Good soundtrack.
Wait, oh, which song was this again? Christ. Oh, it's Stormblood. Okay. Ah, that's right, Alamigo. Okay. Man, I only remember this because this song is just like, oh man, launch of Stormblood was just like, yeah. Launch of Stormblood was this particular thing on Expert Roulette, and then it was on Trials Roulette you get Shinryu, and no one could clear Shinryu, and it was like, oh.
Oh shit, Ryu, that's a doozy of a fight.
That thing was just like, man, I don't know. Whenever one of my friends, whenever he queued up into it, he was just like, I don't want to be here. I'm just gonna leave the duty. Goodbye. I can take the 30-minute penalty. I don't want to be sitting here in Shinryu for 30 minutes. I'm just gonna go fishing.
Oh goodness. See, I don't mind doing shit like that because I always find the funniest things that happen.
Oh man.
It's actually Shinryu where I helped my couple of my FC mates to clear it for the very first time.
Oh.
And it was when I first started it was like 3 years ago. I started streaming, and it was like with a whatchamacallit, it was with my shitty gaming laptop, and everything was really bad. I used like this really shitty like headset speaker,
Oh boy.
microphone, it was like that it was that rancid. But that clip when everybody was dead, and I was like on my pretty much on my last breath, and then I ended up killing him, killing Shinryu, and everyone just went, wait, what?
It's dead.
And I literally blew up my microphone, so it was like absolute like ear bleeding shriek. It was like the funniest. It was honestly like the funniest, one of my golden moments in Final Fantasy.
Oh man, yeah. Shinryu as a fight, I'm just like, oh god. When it came to Shinryu Extreme, I was like, oh man, why would you ever design a fight like this?
It's
that one's a doozy. For a friend of mine, it's just like, oh, this is just coils mechanics. It's easy. I'm just like, it's coils mechanics. Do you know how many people fail coils?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was just like, a lot of people failed coils. What are you talking about, homie? Oh, God.
Because, yeah, coils is just... They borrow a lot of the mechanic, or raid mechanics and whatnot these days, just from there, because it's one of the most complex pieces of content they've ever bloody made, so... Makes sense that they can just recycle it anyhow.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my friend is stuck in Coil 5 with their FC.
Oh, boy.
And they said it's been 3 hours, and they're still there.
Coil 5, wait, was that Twintania?
I think so.
I think it was Twintania's 5. Twintania's either 4 or 5, I think.
Yeah, it's 5. 5 is Twintania. Oh, Twister.
God.
Twister.
Nah, the memory I have of Twintania is when I was being dragged through coils for the first time with my FC. And we got to Twintania, and more than half the FC got hit by the dive, essentially. And yeah. By pure coincidence, since I had no idea where I was supposed to be at the time, by pure coincidence I survived, and I watched as the rest of my FC died. I was like, oh no.
Oh, that's a sad moment.
It's like, oh no, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? No, the saddest moment I've had by far is... Let's see, what was the Aquapolis called again in Stormblood? Whatever the heck that was. Yeah, so where you do maps, go down whatever number of floors. Yeah,
The treasure maps. Yeah.
So the worst case I had of that was... Let's see, it was my map. We went down all 7 floors, we got to the boss, and then we wiped somehow.
No.
Everyone that time was extremely salty. Like, salty to the absolute extreme.
I would have quit.
Yeah, the only thing that made it worse was 6 out of the 8 players were hardcore raid players.
Oh.
They were geared for day 1 frontlining already. And they managed to wipe. I think that may have been one of the reasons that Static eventually disbanded, but...
Shit.
Because, yeah, holy hell, there was a lot of salt.
Yeah, I could taste the salt from here.
Because, yeah, clearing that would have meant, oh, yeah, you're swimming in gill, pretty much.
Yeah, you would have had millions.
But, yeah, no, we died. Just then and there. Oh, God, everyone was just bloody mad. It was just like, no.
I would have been like, alright, I'm done for the day. I would be like, I'd see ya.
Yeah, everyone was just like, oh, God, we're done. That's the last map we're doing.
That is definitely some sad moment, dude.
Yeah, hardcore Static fails at casual content. Oh no. That was the meme for like 2 months before that Static disbanded. It was just like, because yeah, they were top 1 or 2 percentile. They were a scary bunch.
Oh. Okay, yeah.
Like specifically on Tonberry, I think they were like top 1%. And
okay.
yeah, that was just like, man, all right, crazy lot, so to speak. Because yeah, whenever you look at FF logs, it's just like, oh God, oh fuck.
I don't bother looking at FF logs anymore. I'm just giving up. I'm just like, as long as I clear content, I really don't give a shit.
I normally just keep a parser on the side just because I like seeing my own damage numbers and making sure that I'm contributing, but that's about it, really. Because apart from that, I just, like, by the end of Stormblood, I swapped from being a DPS to playing a tank instead. And yeah, it changed into a case of, yes, I now have full responsibility of everything that happens, and I am loving it.
Yeah, definitely.
Because one thing you find out about being the tank is you are the absolute lifeline.
Yeah.
It's not the healer, it's the tank.
Yeah, it's definitely the tank. I will say the last fight that we're doing, in the second phase of that fight, I genuinely feel bad for the tanks because they have a lot more to do.
Because
I
in casual content, at most
mm,
you'll have an empty OT, and then you'll very rarely need to swap them.
yeah,
But
yeah,
the
yeah.
moment you go
This one
into extreme or savage,
or
then you need to
savage,
do
yeah.
tank swaps and all kinds of crazy stuff just to make sure the raid just doesn't wipe on the spot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's there's a certain mechanic where this one boss where the tanks need to constantly switch aggro while baiting her or baiting the boss away from the team
Oh.
while dodging um exploding floors or
Oh.
explosions on the floor. And that honestly, when I saw that, I was just like, I am so fucking glad I am not a tank this tier. I'm so glad that I'm just a healer. Although I
hmm
don't know, I feel like this fight, the one that I'm working on this tier, the last part, I feel like yeah, it's healer in like there are healing intense moments, but in the end, I feel like it's not as hard of a fight as like compared to like what the DPS need to do mechanically and what the tanks need to do mechanically. I feel
hmm
like as a mechanic standpoint, as a healer, it's easy if that makes any sense.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. Because
Yeah.
FF raids tend to be very heavy mechanics wise
Right.
compared to a lot of other games. Like
Mhm.
World of Warcraft, outside of like the highest difficulties, is very much a gear check.
Mhm.
Guild Wars is more a class check and composition check, and
Right.
PSO is a full DPS check.
I was gonna say you just kill it. Like just kill the thing.
PSO is a case of, oh, you invested points in a defensive skill. What are you doing? What?
Get that out. Get it out. What are you
PSO is
doing?
very scary in that regard because most classes you will play tend to be glass cannons, and it's only the cases of a couple of classes where the reason you take defensive skills is so you can do more DPS.
Do more damage. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if I'm not mistaken, that was definitely one of the summoner builds that I was doing.
Oh boy.
Um, I'm a summoner main in PSO too, unfortunately. So I would summon
Oh
like
god.
this rat furball, and essentially, the more damage it takes, the more damage it does,
Oh
and
my
it
god.
becomes like this fat, chunky lord. And then all you do is just yeet, just yeet it to the boss, and it just does so much damage. And it was so stupid, but it was so funny at the same time.
For myself, I was a braver player at first.
Mm.
Only I was an absolute piece of work because I didn't choose just bow braver or katana braver. I played hybrid braver, and that
Mm.
is absolutely horrifying in terms of skill requirement. But yeah, that one was fun to do. But it was
Mhm.
a case of I dodge everything, I pray, I counter now,
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, that's awesome though.
and then it became, oh, Phantom came out. I guess I'm a Phantom player now.
Phantom
Then
actually looked pretty cool.
Phantom is really cool. Like, the only problem is it does no damage.
Oh, F.
It is a very counter-based class, only you have no survivability options.
Oh, that's
If you want to do,
that's sad.
yeah, if you want to do damage, you have to put yourself in the way of harm for 90% of the fight,
Mm.
because your static DPS is nothing.
Mm-hmm. Wow, okay. Good to know.
And then Luster came out, and I was like, Luster seems cool. I started playing it. This is easy mode.
Mm-hmm.
It does so much, it does so much damage, and
Mm-hmm.
the timings and skill requirements aren't absurd or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it felt easier to play than, say, Braver.
Okay.
And definitely easier than Phantom. Phantom was
Right.
just, oh my god, get me out of here. Because, yeah, Phantom's a different kind of pain. It really is a different kind of pain, because Every other class has, the moment you hit 0 HP, you survive on 1 HP usually. So some kind of iron will or some kind of invulnerability. Phantom's one is, oh, you go below 50% HP, we give you 80% damage resistance. You die instead.
I'm just like, how about death?
Oh my god. Kaiman? God okay. Christ alive.
Welcome, Raiders!
Kaiman, I was actually going to raid you after I was done with this interview,
Oh,
not the other way around.
shit.
Hey, yep, the interview's going well. Alright, yep, man was doing art. If I recall earlier, he was more or less finishing up the rendering on my model to be, and then he started
Ooh,
rigging a friend of his.
nice.
And yes, this man, exceptional fella, known him for a good chunk of my uni years. Good lord, good chunk of my uni years. Also a very good drinker, I will say.
I I absolutely love your design. When the moment you announced your model, I looked at it and I was just like, damn, I love I just really liked the aesthetic of it.
Yeah, for that one, Hen, the communication there was pretty much just, okay, here's a couple of design points. 1, make the character as androgynous as possible. 2, include flowers. 3, they're a bartender. Here's some Victorian bartending outfits.
Nice. Yeah, no, I absolutely love it. It's a vibe. It's a total vibe.
And then 4 was, yeah, include the flowers. Please include flowers.
Did I forget? Include the flowers.
But yeah, apart from that, it was more or less based around a doodle that I did yoinks ago of something very, very simple that I was just procrastinating exams from. And it was more or less down the checklist of, okay, I got exams on the weekend. I should study for these. You know what? No. I should clean my room first. Yeah. Can't study in an environment that's not clean, you know? It's not productive. Alright, done with cleaning. I'm a bit beat. Let's open up YouTube. Kitchen nightmares. Okay, let's go down the kitchen nightmares hole.
Oh, God.
I am still currently going down that hole these days. Jesus Christ. Because I found out they uploaded uncensored episodes of the American release. That was dubbed into the UK version. And I was just like, oh my god. There's so much here. I need to get through all of this eventually just for the memes. And then after the kitchen nightmares hole is just, oh, you know what? Maybe I should try drawing something for once. Why not? So I started drawing some stuff out, and yeah, that's how it ended up.
Hey, man, I mean, looks great.
Oh, Zal.
I did notice the Sapphire Bombay, yes, I did, and the Roku.
Yeah, so the current version of the bar that we are in is a revamped version specifically for winter. So normally I have the summer bar, which I think I can just switch over to pretty easily. Maybe, give me a second here. There's the summer bar and then there's the winter bar. The summer bar is very specifically what I used before and included flowers that specifically flower or bloom in the summer.
Ooh, fancy.
So it was stuff like hydrangeas, certain kinds of... I forget the specifics at current moment, but yeah. It was more or less summer flowers. This one is specifically all winter flowers instead. So in the back, you end up seeing there's camellias, snowdrops, other kinds of winter drops there as well. Those kinds of flowers anyhow. And last I was thinking, you know what? I want some new bottles on the table. So I looked down underneath my desk. I'm like, okay, I've got some gin here and I've got some gin here. All right, we're going with gin.
Hey man, it works. It works. It fits.
And then I was like, I want a dipper bottle for something, or maybe like bitters or something. So another dipper bottle got put on the table as well. Heck, the the artist for this background, he even went so far as to change the paintings in the background as well. And it wasn't
Wow.
necessarily a detail I requested either. I was just like, because I noticed it afterwards. I was like, dude, what the? Okay, sure. Nice. Good job. Good job. Really good job.
Man, I love little hints of details like that. It always warms my heart, honestly.
Because, yeah, this artist works really goddamn fast. And I know his method behind it, but it does not detract from how impressive it is for background art. Because from what I know, the guy is more so like a photographer, essentially. So he takes photographs of certain objects and then more or less traces and details. However, his composition work is pretty damn good, so it supplements it quite well. And he doesn't just take it straight and leave it there. Yeah, man also happened to work on a whole bunch of anime sort of work as well.
Really?
Yeah, man works out of a, more or less an art mill, which is kind of unfortunate, but yeah. It's why at the end of certain anime you see a lot of Vietnamese names and whatnot. Part of a Vietnamese art mill, and he pumps out stuff for them. And he pumps it out really goddamn fast.
Yeah, definitely.
Because, yeah, his turnaround is like a day, and I'm just like, dude, what the hell? How do you push this out in a day? I'm just like, Christ. In particular, for this winter variation, he pumped it out in less than 8 hours. And I was just
Wow,
like...
8 hours?
Yeah. 8 hours, because it's just a couple of details changed in the mood lighting as well, and that was about it. But man, he pumped it out really fast. I was like, damn. Freaking hell. Some people are just built different in some cases, or have just done the work for such a long duration that, yeah.
It's honestly impressive.
Yeah, it is goddamn impressive. Alright, let's see. What did I have left to ask? Because I think we've covered most of what I sent you at this point, and most of what I had written down at this point. I think the last thing that I had noted down was regarding monetization of streams. Or monetization of content, because I remember you mentioning having a certain view on it. So by all means, what are your feelings on monetizing streams or content creation?
I think it's a good side hustle. Especially if you're starting from zero and you don't really know where to go, but you just say fuck it and do it. Yeah, I just genuinely think it's a good side hustle to do if you're gonna take it a little bit more seriously. I feel like it is very, at least for me, it would be a lot more intimidating if like I started with like a bunch of people, you know, like if like let's just say I don't know, like 100 people were to come into my stream all of a sudden, and day one, I would feel incredibly like overwhelmed. I would just be like, "Fuck, what do I even do? Shit," you know, like I would feel extremely nervous about it, but and then suddenly they give you like, let's just say like you end up just having like 100 viewers all the time and all that shenanigans, and Twitch just ends up being like, oh, congratulations, you can be a partner now. And then you ended up being a partner and you're just like, fuck, what do I do now? And I would just feel so overwhelmed by it. I'd be like, I really don't know what to do here. You know, so I feel like starting off as an affiliate and just trying to get to know how the system works, you know, really, really helps, you know.
Yep.
Because like, you know, it's tough and it's not easy. There's definitely competition, like, you know, because like there are people there that choose you, they choose you to watch and be entertained versus like other millions and millions of streamers out there, you know. So it's tough, you know, and it can be, streaming can be discouraging. Some people definitely have stopped by and asked, you know, I was like, hey, you seem to be doing really good in streaming, and I get no viewers. What do I do? And I I'm stumped. 'Cause, like I barely know what I'm doing. I don't do any like logistics. I don't really do like tags or I don't and honestly I don't really advertise on my Twitter as much. Like I do it occasionally if I'm doing a collab or something, but when it comes to like my daily streams, I don't advertise it. And I'm just like and I'm just like I don't know. I can't just be like be entertaining because like I've never seen your shit. Like like I've never seen anything. And I feel like when people get really stumped, it sucks and it's really discouraging. Because like it's inevitable that um people who have that kind of insecurity they compare themselves to other people that are quote unquote making it. Um
Huh.
like in their eyes they're making it, but maybe in your eyes you're just like I'm barely doing shit. And it's tough, but in the end when people always ask, I always just say be consistent and try to find your theme. If you
Mhm.
find your theme and if you're consistent enough, things will get easier. I'm not i'm not going to promise you that it's gonna be an overnight thing. I've streamed for more than 3 years, and it's difficult. It's hard to get that audience. I was there, but just keep at it and you'll go somewhere. And if not, I really hope you learned anything from it, like something from it, so that you could use it to your own advantage in the present.
Mhm. Yeah, consistency is key. After you get to that point of making something automatic or just something that is just part of your day to day, then yeah, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of those things where it's just like, how should I say this? When it comes to like consistency, it's similar to like either like in working out or doing certain things. Hold on, where was that quote? Let me find it here. It
Mhm.
was a sorry, I gotta go find it because it this one definitely hit me harder. Um, it was from I don't know if you watch BoJack Horseman, but
Oh,
there yeah, so this is a quote from BoJack Horseman.
okay.
Well, not from BoJack himself, but it was a scene where BoJack decides to go work out, and he decides to go on a jog, and he gets extremely exhausted, and then he just hits the floor, right? And
Mhm.
then another jogger, I think it was a baboon or a monkey, comes in and asks, and looks at him, and then he says, "It gets easier."
Huh.
Every day it gets a little easier, but you gotta do it every day. That's the hard part. But it does get easier.
Mhm.
And I feel like for me, that's what um, gets me the most that's what I try to tell people about consistency, is that you gotta be consistent. It gets easier if you're consistent, but you gotta be consistent. And that is the hard part of it. But it does get easier because you're gonna get used to it, you know?
Mhm. It's a fair sentiment to have. After all, can't really do much without the practice in the end of the day.
Right.
And hey, eventually you figure out whether something is worth it or not for yourself. Or
Yeah,
establish
exactly.
your own brand, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, I don't know. In the case of when I started out this streaming thing at the start of the year, I was just like, I don't really have much to talk about, so I will just talk nonsense for the most part, or just commentate on whatever is happening in a game. In the
Honestly,
end,
yeah.
I was just like, this kind of feels garbage. Let's find some people to talk with. And it just became a
Yeah.
case of, oh, hey, you're in this whole streaming business. All right, let's talk. Let's go back and do what I do on radio, only at a long form format instead. And yeah, it ended up being just, all right, I pretty much don't give a damn about separating a character from a person anymore, so hey, I'll just speak about my own experiences, and God, for my age, I've seen and experienced a lot, apparently.
Oh god, I get that. That's
Because
definitely
yeah,
understandable.
people immediately assume, oh, you should be in like your late God knows what, and I'm just like, oh boy, you don't know the half of it. I've seen a lot of stuff. I'm still this young. I'm still going to keep seeing more stuff. This is hell.
Yeah, it's just gonna keep going, mate.
Yeah, it is just gonna keep going. Never really stops, so yeah. I don't know. All I can really say is just wake up, get into it.
Pretty much.
Because first step is just getting out. Or get up, get out there. Pretty much.
Yeah. So another psychology fact.
Oh?
If you give yourself a countdown, you're more likely to do that thing.
Time pressure? Yeah.
Yeah, you're more likely to do the thing. So whenever I have a hard time getting out of bed, I always say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then I get up.
Ah, at least you managed that much. Me is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, snooze.
Yeah, that too. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I definitely snooze. I slack. I can be a little bit of a slacker. Gosh, yeah, no,
No,
I've definitely done that before.
For myself, it's gone to the point where I just know the bare minimum required to get out and be on time, essentially. It's just, I have gotten my schedule down to that point where I know if I wake up at exactly 7:45 a.m., I can be on the train in the next 30 minutes and out in the city by the next hour.
Oh my goodness. I feel like I would totally do that too, but the only problem is because I live in I live in New York City and the trains are never in on time. So I'm always just like shit, I gotta get ready.
Ah, no,
And then
like,
I ended up missing that train and I'm just like shit.
man, because like, how does one put it? Sydney rail network has been known for being one of the least reliable rail networks in existence. It's just that I am lucky that where I'm at, it usually doesn't screw up that often. It's just in the other direction, yeah.
Oh god. I can't imagine. I can't imagine a less reliable metro system other than New York City. There are so many really bad ones out there too. I heard Chicago was actually really bad too.
Man. Now for us, it's a case of, oh, a sheep walked onto the tracks. Yeah. You're gonna have a
Oh.
50-minute delay now. Have fun.
Oh shit. Well, honestly, I feel like a sheep's better. Meanwhile, ours is just like there is a crazy woman holding a knife in front of the train wreck. You have an hour delay, and I'm just like, yeah, that's
Oh,
that's New
I've kind of
York.
been a part of one of those before. That was fun.
No.
How does one put it? So, sitting on a train, heading home, there's like a 10-minute gap between one station and another. Some guy decides to go on a very long racist tirade about, I don't know, white privilege or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
Sees some random Asian dude and stabs him clean in the back.
Oh.
Said Asian dude drops like a sack of potatoes, screaming. And
Oh my god.
then some random buff dude on the side tackles the guy with the knife down and more or less neutralizes the guy. Meanwhile, I'm there like, well, fuck. I know first aid. Looks like no one else here does. Ah, this is going to be fun.
Oh my god. I have like no first aid thing. I just know how to put a band-aid over a paper cut. That's as best as you'll get from me.
So there's me there treating the wound like, oh boy. Yeah, that looks pretty nasty. Time to stop the bleeding. Yeah, you're not gonna need your pants that much anymore, are you? Tears one of the leggings off and is just like, okay, we'll staunch the blood with this. Pumps down on it. Okay, come on, just a bit more.
Oh God.
Blood is warm. Blood is very warm. Good lord. After that was a
I
case
guess that makes sense.
of grab the other trouser leg and wrap it around as a makeshift band-aid and just pray to God that was enough. And I was like, man, shit. I do not want to have to deal with that ever again.
Did you like take the day off afterwards?
I look at the buff dude, which did the tackling and everything. I'm like, you know what? This is your credit. You can handle this from here, yeah? Yeah? Okay, good. Next station comes around. I just head off. It's just like, man, I am 2 kilometers away from my house. Where's the nearest park so I can wash all this blood off? Because Jesus Christ, that was a very messy affair.
Holy shit.
Uh,
Fuck, dude. That's... Oh my God.
Pretty much called my best friend on the way back. Yeah, I just dealt with a stabbing. How's your night been?
Fuck, dude. That's intense.
Oh, believe me, I have dealt with worse. That is a story for another time, though.
Definitely.
Because that story lasts about an hour every time I tell it. That particular
Holy
story.
shit.
Because it's about the night of a gay pride parade and what happens if you volunteer on one. Yeah,
That's actually really interesting.
it's a... One day I'll get it out there in proper form, because
Absolutely.
I've done it on stream once, but that was for a collab Zatsudan one time. But then that VOD I think has been long archived at this point. Because that was with Komatsu Sasha or Yule Beshido, whichever you know her by. Anyhow. She'll be back one of these days. Bit busy with IRL stuff. Anyhow. But yeah, that story, man, I think I told a bit of it on Friday night to like a couple of Sydney siders. That one was... They pretty much commented that was like, oh yeah, you talk about it like as if it's like war flashbacks. Mate, it was war flashbacks. Thank you very much.
Oh my God.
Like the imagery was vivid enough that I could put it into a short story and actually came out with a very competent short story by the end of it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was one of my HD pieces actually, back in uni. Jesus Christ. Got any wild stories like that?
I have a funny story.
Sure, go for it, go for it.
I have a funny story. This isn't actually about me or anything like that. This is like one of the stories about, it's like a friend of a friend kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a story about a friend of a friend. So let's... Oh, okay. Let's see now. I gotta think of 2 names here, just so I can keep it as anonymous as possible.
Oh, you just take normally you just take the first letter of a name, then add san or chan to it, and that'll do it for the most part.
All right. So let's just go with
You can just go A and B.
let's go with Lenna and Eiko. How's that?
Oh my god.
I think this is usually the best way to go. Okay.
Okay, do it.
So this story is called The Mud Troll.
Hey? Okay.
Yes, it is. Yeah, the story is called The Mud Troll. So quite a while back, probably like let's just say uni college-esque kind of years, Lenna and Eiko decided to be roommates for during the whole semester year. And they decided to rent a house. It's a little bit far away. So it's a little bit of a drive from like the city, like kind of like where college town would be. So let's just like keep it open here. Aiko, you're more of like a person who likes to be a little bit more on the social side, and you kind of like to go drive to the college town and grab a couple of like drinks with your buddies, right?
Oh boy.
Yeah. Kind of like fun, more outgoing than Lenna here. Lenna, on the other hand, kind of likes to keep to themselves, and they like to be on drugs.
Ah.
Specifically shrooms. They really, really like shrooms.
Oh no.
All right. So then, all right. So now you kind of like get how these two fellows are. One weekend, Aiko decides to go out with the bros, kind of like the bro night, And Aiko decides to invite Lenna. They're just like, "Hey, Lenna, do you want to like spend time with the bros, grab a couple of cold ones, you know what I mean?" And then Lenna goes, "You know what? I think I'm good for this weekend. I kind of like wanna like chill out, zone out, you know what I mean?" And then Aiko, you just go, "Yeah. I totally get what you mean. All right. Well, I mean, if you need anything, I'll be in town. Text me if you need any like drinks, or if you need like snacks or soda or pop, whatever. Just hit me up." And Lena just goes, "Okie dokie," and exchange moments. You get ready, and then you start going to the town. So you go into the bar with your friends. You just came in, right?
Okay.
And it's probably like, let's say it's like roughly 9 p.m. around your time. You get your phone starts to buzz, and then you look at it, and it's Lenna. So you pick it up and you be like, "Hey, what's up? I just got in the bar." And then Lenna just goes, "Yeah, I'm not gonna worry you too much, but I just wanted to inform you that there's a mud troll standing outside of our place."
What?
So Aiko takes a few seconds to comprehend what Lenna just said, right? And then Aiko just goes, "Dude, Lenna, no, you're tripping. Just close the curtain and just sit down, grab some popcorn, and do whatever." And then Lenna just goes, "I mean, I guess so. Yeah, you're right." And then hangs up and then sits down, right?
Oh no.
Let's say no more than like 45 minutes go, and you get another phone call, and Aiko gets another phone call, and then you just go there, and then you open it, you're like, "Hello?" And you're like, Lenna just goes, "Hey, so I heard tapping on the window, so I opened it, and it's the mud troll again. The mud troll is literally staring at me right now, tapping on the window." And then you just immediately just go, "Okay, this isn't good. I gotta go. I need to sober up a little bit though." And because like you drank a little bit, and you're very firm believer of like, don't drink and drive kind of thing. So you sobered up a little bit. So a little time has come up a little, and then you speed, you just basically go speed away, right? And then you go back, you look around, you don't really see too much, right? And then Aiko opens the door, and he's just like, "All right, what? Where is it?" And then Lenna, holding a bowl of popcorn while eating eating it and watching a TV show, says, "What? The mud troll? What happened to it? Like, what is the mud troll?" And then Lenna just goes, "Oh, don't worry, I took care of it."
Huh?
Aiko looks at him and says, "What do you mean you took care of it?"
Oh no.
And Lenna just goes, "Don't worry, I just lured it with a bowl of milk, and it's in the closet." So then Aiko just goes, "Son of a bitch, it's like a fucking raccoon," right? So then Aiko just goes, "Oh my god damn it," right? So then Aiko just gets the broom, and then it's just like, I'm gonna call like that. I don't want to call animal control whatsoever, so I'm just gonna like shoo it out, right? Aiko opens the door, and it is a child covered in mud drinking a bowl of milk.
Huh?
So fast forward a little bit, right? Apparently, it was an autistic child who went missing for 48 hours, and because Lenna found the child, Lenna got a reward of $5,000 US dollars.
Oh my god. What the?
So there you go. That is the story of the mud troll.
The story of the mud troll. Jesus Christ. Yeah, tripping. Yes, definitely tripping of some kind.
Yeah. It was quite the trip.
Oh my god. Alright then. I think that is a good spot to end for tonight, at the very least.
Absolutely. It's a good way to end the note there.
Alright then. I will say, thanks for being on. This one was quite enjoyable.
No, thank you so much for inviting me. I had a lot of fun.
Alright, let's see if I can't find someone to raid at this time of day, now that my raid target more or less passed out.
Absolutely.
Okay, if we've got Final Fantasy music going on right now, I am gonna raid a bastard who is playing FF14 as we speak then.
Ah, there we go.
Huh?
I need to do that.
Oi!
Sorry, I need to do that before ending.
Jesus Christ. Of course you had to. Of course you had to.
Just that once, you know what I mean?
Alright, let's send them off to someone that I... Wait. Christ, give me a sec here. Are they currently on Be Right Back? Oh yeah, they're currently Be Right Back. Never mind then in that case. Let's pick someone else then. Alright, why not? Let's go with someone who's playing a board game then.
Hell yeah.
Alright. As always, thanks fellas for swinging by. I will send you guys off in 5, 4, 3, 2,
Bye, chat.
and 1. Phew, and in 3, 2, 1, we are